Bitches ain't shit and they ain't saying nothing. 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 Man.
Bitches and niggas, niggas and bitches, happy weekend, happy Sunday, and all that shit. Happy Sunday and all that shit. What's good, people? Hope y'all hearing me loud and clear. What's poppin'? Motherfucking airplanes, man. We got hacked, man. Motherfuckers got hacked. Look, I don't give a fuck what they say, man. This shit was a hack job, man. You know what I'm saying? Supposed to go to New York. That shit got canceled in a hurry. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta fuck with me on here. Eloquently petty, articulate assholery. My name is Marcus Aurelius. This is the Keep It 100 channel, nigga. Know what I'm saying? What's good, people? This one's called Love and Politics. Know what I'm saying? Gonna have a couple people up. This ain't the debate, though. Just want to have a conversation. I just want a conversation. I come in peace. Okay? I just want a conversation. I don't want no smoke. All right? Another thing. Usually I welcome trolls, but I ain't having that shit today. So, if you came here to fuck around, your ass will get chopped. I'm saying this shit early. I'm not in the mood. So, if you want to cloud watch, do so. But if you came in here to troll, my man right there, he's gonna handle you. I'm just letting you know this shit early. Okay? Alright? Disagree all you like. Free speech. We all know it's free speech here. This is the Keep It 100 shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if you came here to troll, Spawn. Shout out to Spawn, the program. Alright, man. Alright, yo, I troll if I want to, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's good, bro? By the way, to you, I remember, I got to shout you out. Because you were one of the few. When that whole May shit went down, you was like, but what about the contents of the email, dog? What about the contents of the email? Like, what about that? So shout out to Spawn, the programmer. I saw you in the comments. I saw you. I pay attention. Okay? So I want to shout you out. Because you was like, yo, what's up with what she said in the email, though? All right? At any rate, yo, we going to get right into it. This is Love and Politics, man. I got a lot of shit to say tonight. Well, before I get into the festivities, the shit that, the proceedings this evening, let me throw this at you real quick. Hold on. Where we at? Let me see. Where this shit? Okay, here we go.
To Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
So shout out to Machismo. They're going to be on tonight. They're going to do their panel tonight. This is a Sunday. I want to do this because I know Kev is on tonight. Shout out to Kev, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Yeah. So with those things in mind, let's proceed. I came across something. Shout out to my man Nigel. I came across something, or he sent me some shit. I ain't gonna say I came across it. He sent me some shit, right? This is an O'Shea Duke Jackson video, right? And it's about Myron from Fresh and Fit. So I want to play this, and I want to speak on this real quick. So I'm gonna pull this up, right, before we get into our real topic. Hold on 1 second. Let me share the screen real quick. This is homie playing himself as usual. Playing himself as motherfucking usual, okay? So, hold on. So, here we got, it says, it's called Myron Does the Unthinkable After Losing Reparations Debate, right? So I'm gonna play it. We're gonna see what O'Shea's talking about. Let's see what Myron is talking about. Let me know if y'all can hear it. I'll be watching the chat. Let me know if the sound is good. Let's go.
So I guess when you're not making money on YouTube as a content creator, you have all the time in the world to be on Twitter, arguing and posting about a bunch of things that really can get you into more trouble or don't really make much sense to you. And that's the case with Myron. He's on Twitter talking about Israel, the Palestinian conflict, blaming Israel for the assassination attempt on Trump, instead of actually trying to get more OnlyFans models into the podcast studio and do some content. Oops! Sorry, they got demonetized. So let's keep repeating the same bad habits that has cost us millions of dollars on Fresh and Fit by wasting more time talking about things that don't help us achieve our goals. And this is what Myron does. He likes to engage people on debating subjects that really don't pertain to him, which is what I typically don't do. For people who are not pro-African American, I don't engage them. I don't want to talk to them. Not to say that that's wrong, because I'm so focused on trying to push what I'm doing forward, I'm focused on myself. Again, this is not what Myron is doing. He debates people all day on Twitter, usually losing by a lot, and then throwing insults after he smoked in the argument. We saw that when he got into it with Tariq Nasheed. But there is another brother. Marcel Dixon. Now, to be honest, I've seen Marcel Dixon around on social media. I've heard of his name. I never really took the time or opportunity to really check him out. I did see that he has been invited to some of Tariq Nasheed's events. I didn't know he's from South Carolina, but this brother is a straight intellectual. He doesn't take a whole lot of digs. He doesn't get into the roasting. He's not trying to take the conversation there, which is what Tariq Nasheed can do if you push him, but he's gonna stay really on point and talk about the topics only. And if you're not gonna talk about the topics, he'll just stop. And this is what happened with Mr. Marcel Dixon. He was trying to have an educated conversation with white conservatives or people on the alt-right or whoever they want to consider themselves to be. And it seems like they were listening, they were engaging him. And the first part of his argument was the difference between the white right and the left for the black community, and why you don't get so many African Americans voting Republican.
The truth of the matter is a large swath of America, I'll say even a majority of Americans, are tuned out of these spaces. So what we really have are Americans who are politically active, who are politically engaged, who go to their echo chambers. You got the echo chamber on the left and the echo chamber on the right. And let me tell you why sometimes it seems, but I'm telling y'all, it's a myth that Black Americans, by and large, are somehow represented well or adherents of the left. It's because spaces on the right, Malcolm X said that the white liberal have mastered the art of pretending to be the Negro's friend. So we don't get the blatant anti-Blackness on the left. Oh, it's there. Look at our communities and look at who we've been voting for the past 60 years. That's the anti-Blackness. But on the right, we get the baby mama, baby daddy stereotypes. We get the y'all have failed to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. We get the reparations. We get all that nastiness coming from the right. So when you have Black people who are politically engaged, they're going to go to the side that just seems to be the less hostile, even though that side is actually even more hostile because they're supposed to be representing you with policies, but instead they just give you a few symbolic representations, a few symbolic victories. They may give a Black person a job like Ketanji Jackson Brown. That's supposed to somehow lift off 55 million of us, do something for us, and it doesn't. So that's why sometimes we have this misconception that Black Americans, by and large, are lefties, which I'm telling y'all, if anyone actually is in Black,
Marcel, we're conservatives at home, but Democrats at the ballot box. It's been this way
largely
for a long time.
Largely conservative. The problem is, and I've been to MAGA rallies, I've been to American Patriot rallies, and one thing I appreciate about those spaces are two things. One, they are willing to have intellectual discourse. When I mention reparations, they don't throw tomatoes on, walk out. They sit there and we have those conversations. Two, they acknowledge that the white right, white conservatives and the non-Black conservatives, but even Black conservatives, they have allowed bigots to feel too comfortable saying that they represent the white right or that they represent conservatism. There has been a unfortunate conflation of being conservative and being on the right with bigotry. And that is something that the right is going to have to address. Why bigots sometimes feel more comfortable being blatant bigots on the right. Now, me, I like my bigotry blatant. I like to see who you are. Show me who you are and I can deal with you accordingly. But that's where that misconception comes from. And that's why sometimes you go on these college campuses and you get these little boulets, think they're elitist Blacks. They are usually the ones who are really aligned with the far left. Most of the nastiness I have faced has not come from white conservatives. It has not come from the American patriot types. The nastiness I have faced, 98% of it has come from Black people who think that being a Democrat is more important than being Black. And even Black Americans. That's where most of the nastiness I face. That's where most of the slander I face has come from. That's where a lot of the personal attacks I have faced has come from. Yes, I've gotten some hate messages from these wannabe white supremacist types, but a lot of the hatred I come from have come from those same types, Devon, who probably gave you hell on Georgetown campus or called you a coon. So the reason the right sometimes doesn't have the same reach among the Black political spectra is because they welcome too much blatant bigotry, whereas the left is just as bigoted by neglecting us and feeding BS to us and putting on these Black faces and making it seem like all we care about is aborting Black babies, when I can tell you here in the South, you talk to the average Black family, abortion is not something we even think about. Usually here, a person has a baby, the family member is going to take that baby in if the person who gave birth to that child is not able to do so. That's why you'll see an aunt sometimes raising their nieces and nephews, or you'll see sometimes a grandmother with their grandchildren until the parents get on their feet. Like this whole confiscation of guns, I'm here in the South. Black Americans are just as much gun aficionados as white Southerners. Trust you, we are. but the right is missing out on opportunities to do that. And that is the fault of the right for not engaging a lot of black voters out here. Because the truth be told, just like with white voters, over 55% of black voters aren't even active.
So that was a good case. It's the first time I really heard it put in that perspective. I mean, I know that
that shit was wonderful. That shit was wonderful. Right? Now soon, shout out to my man Hood Conservative and shout out to my man Rob Blacklight. Rob, I don't know if you're available, but if you are, I would love for you to come up here after I play the rest of this video and we get started. But that was fucking on point. That was on fucking point. Okay? So let's continue. We gonna get through O'Shea because just work through O'Shea because this ain't about O'Shea. This is about Marcel Dixon and his exchange with Myron. So let's focus on that. Let's go.
it's true, but he laid it out very well that anybody could understand it. Even the white people on there could understand it. And so did Myron. And this is when Myron is going to come in and he's going to try to attack the argument by just being messy.
So then why should they waste their time going after the black vote when it's only 15% of the population, and on top of that, about 50% aren't politically engaged? The reality is this, guys. Most Americans are stupid. They don't understand how the world works. They don't have a passport. They've never left their state. They can't even name 3 countries a lot of the times. And they're idiots. And the thing is that the left is cooler nowadays. It's cooler to be liberal. It's cooler to be super edgy and woke. That's what's cool. That's the problem with the conservative side for the long time, is that it hasn't been cool. Thankfully, there's some more creators coming out there that are conservative. There's some more creators coming. Hold on, let me finish my point, bro. Let me finish my point.
But with 33, we're like,
let me finish my point.
million. With 30
You're lagging right now.
People who actually vote. First of all, Asian Americans are a smaller contingent of the population. People still engage them. A huge percentage of the Hispanic population can't even vote. And you got people tripping over themselves to do things for illegal immigrants. And that includes the Republican Party. You even got people reach out to Native Americans who are like 2% of the population. So let's stop acting like 15% is such a small percentage when it's a damn lot. And 15% is actually an undercount because the census admits they undercount us by 3 or 4%. And in the South, Black Americans are usually in states like Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, 30% or more of the population. So it's not a waste of time. Just like it's not a waste of time.
It is.
What?
They're not a majority, bro. And the reality is, if the way you're going to get the black voters is by giving them handouts. You guys cry about reparations. You guys want handouts all the time. That's just the reality. Let's call it spade a spade. The black community wants handouts all the time. That's what you guys want.
So, is it a handout when intern Japanese Americans or their children got reparations? Was it a handout when these Native American tribal governments get settlements that sometimes go to them with direct cash payments? Is it a handout when Holocaust survivors and their descendants get direct cash payment? Is it a handout when the downwinders get paid their reparations?
So let me ask you a question then, since you're a pro-reparation guy. Let me ask you a question. Number one, how much money... hold on. Yo, nobody can hear you, bro. Your internet sucks. Your internet sucks. Nobody can hear you. You're just lagging bad. Okay? Fix your dial-up internet that you got. Your AOL. You know, I just got online. Let me finish my point here, okay? Okay. Because you reparation guys always want handouts, and it's ridiculous to me because here's my question. If you're going to go ahead and say, I want reparations, like all these other crybabies, let me ask you this. Number one, who's going to pay for it? Number two, how do we identify who deserves it and who's going to get it? Number three, how are we going to be able to trace back lineage to identify you as a foundationally Black American? How far back are we going to go? Like, none of this stuff actually makes sense. And this is the problem when you want handouts. Who's going to pay for it? How are you going to actually implement it?
I have answered those questions. So first of all, the payments will come from where it's always come from, the federal government, like it's
middle class. The middle class, because you're paying for it. The middle class is going to pay for it. I'm answering your question. Number two, how do they identify who the foundational Black American? Before I even answer that, let's talk about handouts. You got a handout when your family was able to come here from war-torn, poverty-stricken Sudan. So let's not talk about handouts when I'm speaking with a living, walking, talking handout right now.
So that last comment when he was telling Myron that I'm talking to a person who's a walking handout. Myron didn't want to believe that, right? Myron was hurt because that was actually true. Myron was the one that made this conversation.
Yo, he cooked that motherfucker. He cooked that nigga. That nigga got cooked. God damn. Damn, he cooked that motherfucker. Check this out, man. Check this out. It's funny that people, and I want to make one thing clear, because in a lot of my videos, and I shouted this out to my people on my Patreon, right? I have a lot of people that follow me and follow my channel that come from other places. They either come from Africa, the continent, or they come from the islands. Like I tell y'all all the time, I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. And if you know anything about Flatbush, Brooklyn, it's a heavily West Indian community. Heavily West Indian. If you know anything about Flatbush, Brooklyn, you know it's heavily West Indian. There's a Jamaican restaurant. Shit, hey, I'm saying this wrong. There are 5 Jamaican restaurants per block in Flatbush, Brooklyn. We have more West Indian restaurants in Flatbush than we have liquor stores. Okay? I'll say this again. I grew up immersed in West Indian culture and some African culture. These are my friends and some of my family. There's no fucking way that I can be on some anti-Caribbean African shit. But I will check you when necessary. Let me define what a tether is, because this is a very, I guess, sensitive word for some people. You are not a tether because you come from a different place. You are a tether when you exhibit said behavior that's being exhibited right here. That's when you become a tether. Okay? How fucking dare anybody come over here from their country, right? From their country that, whether it's colonized or they run it, that's doing bad, because if it was doing great, you wouldn't leave, right? How the fuck do you leave your place, right, where your people run shit into the ground and come here to enjoy benefits that black Americans fought for, and then talk shit on black Americans while eating the very meal that we served you? How fucking dare you? Right? How dare you? And then, when it's cool, you cosplay. You put on you wear our fashion. You listen to our music. You talk our slang. You do all of these things when it's cool, when it's convenient to fit in. I don't want to make the conversation about that. What the conversation is about here is we're talking about what Marcel is saying about the right appealing to black American voters, because that's the topic, right? That's the topic. Now, what Myron made it about is some, tether versus, black American FBA shit, 80 shit, right? That's what he turned it into. Pick yourself up by your own bootstraps. If that's the case, you should have did that at home. You shouldn't have had to come here. We made it possible for you to come here and do what you do. We made it possible for you to do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be coming here and doing any of the things that you're doing. This society does not treat us the same as it treats you when you get here. Again, we can save that for another video. But the point is, and then I'm going to bring my people in soon. This is about, the political, choices of black Americans. because a lot of times we find ourselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. Right? So I want to finish this. Let's go.
Personal. Marcel Dixon was not there to make it personal. He was there to have a conversation, and many of the other people were there to have a conversation, but not Myron. Myron was there to get into some level of a shouting match. And when he said, hey, listen, your family has benefited from these free handouts, then he said, oh, here we go. Well, the reason why he said, oh, here we go, is because he didn't have a response to that question. And then it got even worse.
The government can identify who's a foundational Black American. Excuse me, you are talking to a man right now whose great-grandmother was raised by someone who was formerly enslaved. My great-grandmother died in 2015 at 101. That's how recent slavery was. Jim Crow and redlining, those things didn't enter to the 1970s. So you're easily able to identify who is a Black American and who's a Black immigrant. The federal government knows who comes here.
And the Black immigrants come here and do a lot better than the FBAs. You guys
Yeah, because that was a dumbass question. How do we identify? Like Myron don't know fucking well he doesn't identify. And we know who's on what side of the argument, right? Usually it's the guys who know that they don't identify who's on the other side of the argument. I want people from other countries and other nations and other continents to understand this. Black Americans have sympathized and empathized with every freedom fight that motherfuckers done had across the water. We done fought for your apartheid and everything else. Now, Marcel is going to say some shit coming up, because I don't know who saw this video before today, but he's about to drop a fucking anvil on this motherfucker. Let's go.
are born and raised here, speaking the English language. You always make excuses for why you're not successful. FBA's always got excuses. How come Nigerians come over here and kill it, and you guys are always crying about reparations, man? It's ridiculous.
All you have is emotionalism. You cannot
emotionalism.
You cannot refute anything I just said, because if you're going to make that argument,
well, number one, you're lagging. Nobody can hear you. You keep lagging because you're on AOL dial-up. You got mail type internet. That's why nobody can hear you. You're out there in the boonies. Your internet sucks.
Look at it. Turn your microphone off, and you'll be able to hear me better. Okay, thank you. The truth of the matter is, you have not been able to intellectually refute anything I've said, because the same arguments you're trying to make against reparations for us, you are not making against all those other groups I just named. Because I'm waiting for you to address the coal miners, the downwinders, the Native Americans, the intern Japanese, the Guamanians, the Holocaust survivors and their descendants, even though the Holocaust didn't even take place here on U.S. soil. If you're going to make those arguments against reparations for freemen, then you got to make those arguments against those people. And in the case of those people, it's not the ones who were necessarily done wrong, the people who were actually alive at that time. It's sometimes going to their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So if you're going to call it handout, then you got to talk about the GI Bill. My great-grandfather is a World War...
serving your country and being black is not the same thing, bro. What the f***? You serious?
My great-grandfather is a World War II veteran. He
deserves the reparations, not you, bro. And he deserves it, not you. That's the difference. Like, why are you trying to get handouts on your granddaddy? That's ridiculous.
Please stop crying.
That's ridiculous.
Put on your big boy.
So nobody inherits shit from the previous generation. So the argument is, if you're Black American, each generation has to get it out the mud, right? You can't get shit from a previous generation, right? Most of our rich people, right, that we know in America, got it from a previous generation. That's one of the things that we talk about in Black culture, is the lack of generational wealth. So in order for you to be proud, you have to get it out the mud like nobody else. There's always special rules for Black Americans. Right? There's always special rules. And Marcel Dixon made an argument that I make pretty often. that everybody else got reparations. And shout out to Maggie under the veil. She said earlier in the video that slave owners got reparations, which is something that people hardly ever speak on. Slave owners got reparations when they abolished slavery in this country. They gave slave owners reparations. So why does that transform into a handout when it becomes us, Black Americans? I would assume that there is a global understanding and a global belief that Black Americans, the only way that you can, win and succeed is on your own. Once upon a time in this country, in America, a Black man going to a bank and applying for a loan was him asking for a handout. You got a site called GoFundMe that if a Black person goes on there and asks for funding, he's asking for a handout. Meanwhile, we're giving millions to killer cops. Millions to killer cops. Everyone else understands angel investors, shit like that, grants, even your Black women got a bunch of things especially for them, not women. Shout out to Hood Server, because we just spoke on this. Things specific to Black women. You have to dig deep into the center of the earth to find anything specific to Black men in the form of a grant or anything else. Because anything that we get, we have to get out blood, sweat, and tears. Now, pointing this out, a bitch ass nigga will say, well, you just jealous. No, we're not jealous. We're just arguing against the dumb shit. If you're going to say, well, it's a handout, well, then what about what you give everyone else? Is that a handout? It's not that we're jealous. We're just calling out the bullshit. And calling out the bullshit ain't jealousy. You dumb fuck. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So this guy who came to this country, you know what? I'll let Marcel say it. Let's go.
Boy pants and wipe the tears from your eyes, okay? My great-grandfather is a...
You're the one crying for reparations.
He is still alive. He's 100 years old. He never got...
So give him the money.
He never
give him the money, not you.
So Marcel Dixon is saying that his relative or grandfather fought in certain wars. And so Myron is trying to use as an example or as an argument, well, then your grandfather deserves reparations and not you. So by that logic, Myron, does anybody that serves in the military that's an African-American deserve reparations, or those who do not deserve to get it? See, the reality is, Myron, with that same logic, when your father was able to come to America from the Sudan, what if they were to be able to say, well, sir, you can come over, but by any chance, if you have a child in America, well, your child doesn't get American citizenship. Only you get American citizenship. Your child must go back to South Sudan. Well, even though you didn't come over to America and your father did, he did the work, you benefited from your father coming to America, and now you have American citizenship, which you will not give up and go to Sudan, right? So the reality is that Myron just doesn't have any arguments to counteract anyone who's intelligent on these issues. And so when he can't do that, he begins to get frustrated. He begins to insult. He begins to talk about people's internet connections and things like this. And this is a person who considers himself to be somewhat intellectual, and it's embarrassing at the very least. And he's just getting picked apart. So with this thinking, it's obvious to be able to see why Myron, number one, got demonetized. Number two, why Myron is still unsuccessful or going to continue to be unsuccessful, backing himself into a corner. But the last thing is this: those people who he's trying to impress on that particular Twitter space, they're going to look at Myron and say, damn, this guy's an idiot. Like, the guy is giving out great examples of why the right is making some mistakes. He's doing it in a very respectful way. Here's an opportunity to engage this guy who possibly could join in on our behalf because, hey, the right would like the African-American vote. They don't have to like the African-American community. They don't even have to want to intermix or even marry with them. But here's an opportunity to engage them and win the person over. But you have somebody like...
Just want to point this out. You heard him say they don't even have to like us. Because the argument out here often is, oh, y'all want people to like you. You want love. No, we don't give a fuck if you like us. Just do your fucking job. Do what you're obligated to do for our vote. You ain't got to like us. The bitch serving me a Big Mac at McDonald's doesn't have to like me, but she has to put cheese on my shit. And that's it. Well, let's keep going.
Like Myron, who is basically stopping that because of his own bias against African Americans, because he wants to call somebody a beggars and crybabies and things like that. When you got into the United States based on that merit. I'm not taking any shots at anybody who does that, but any immigrant who comes over to the United States does so most likely because they don't have any money. It's not like, me.
When you come to America from your country, you're looking for a come up. I'm going to say this one more time. When you come to America from your country, you are looking for a come up. You're not bringing shit to America. You're coming to get shit from America. And black Americans put the cement in the bricks of this motherfucker. And don't you forget that shit. If you have a problem understanding that. And that's all that applies to. The people who are at odds with that ideology. Because if you were so fucking great, you would have did it there. And that's for anybody who feels like they want to talk shit on niggas. If you so fucking great, if the Nigerians are so fucking great, why isn't Nigeria the shit? Why are these places that you have to leave? Why isn't Nigeria Wakanda? You would have did it there. So before you come here and talk shit on us, think on that shit.
When I want to go to Uganda or come to Poland, I'm coming with at least some borrowed money or my own money. That's not what Myron's family did, I'm pretty sure. So again, round of applause for Marcel Dixon for keeping it, very professional. And again, another embarrassing loss for Myron, who continues to show his immaturity the more he engages in this sort of talk. He's just not intelligent enough to keep these conversations going, which in my honest opinion, stop the show. He's not good at dating either. He probably should just go back to that. The problem is he figured out a way to get demonetized when he was acting a damn fool. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy L. Jackson back at it again with an episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all your Curtis Bell.
All right. Now I know some of y'all don't like Shay. I know some of y'all, let me see if my sound on. Let me make sure my sound is on. Okay. I know some of y'all don't like Shay. Okay? But, once in a while, he delivers, man. He delivers, right? So let me drop this down. Once in a while, he delivers, man. Let's give credit where credit is due. But this was one of those, right? So what basically the reason I played this is not really about the relationship between Black Americans, and what Marcel Dixon was trying to say is what the right has to do, and often I say that about this space, what the right has to do is address the bigots who have made their party or conservatism about bigotry. Now, often what happens in this space is when I talk to black conservatives is they try to gaslight us into thinking that this shit doesn't exist. And we know that it does. It's, again, shout out to Hoodservative. It's like arguing the wetness of water. And I don't tend to like to do that, right? So we're going to discuss this, and then we're going to talk about Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden dropped out of the race today. Okay, and right now they thinking about running, you know, Officer Harris and shit. They think about running Officer Harris for the White House. And I got some choice words. So I'm gonna have my man Hood jump up. Hood, I'm going to drop this link. If your name is not Hoodservative, don't click the link because you're going to get dropped. If your name is not Hoodservative at this point, right? Because, you know, I'm going to have a few people jump up, right? But right now, I need Hoodservative. So I'm going to drop this link. There it is. Here it comes, right? If your name is not Blacklight Revelations, do not hit that link. There it is. There it goes. There it was. Shout out to black men being brutally honest. Hey, Kev, I want you to inbox me when it's about 30 minutes from your stream. So then I know I'm 30 minutes from cutoff. Shout out to black men being brutally honest because that's where I'm sending y'all after this. Where the fuck y'all at, man? Okay. So we got the Hoodservative in the queue. Rob, I don't know if you're available. Shout out to Anubis. I see you in the building, man. What's going on? He say he aged out. Hell yeah. Yeah, how you make Trump, you know, Biden's an old man. They both old men. How you so old you make the other old guy not look old? God damn it. Rob, if you can jump in. I'm gonna bring up Hood right now. Where you at? Just hold on. I just clicked them. You there? Hold on. Let me change it.
Mic check.
There we go. What's good, bro?
Oh man, nothing. Yo, I gotta give you my email address or something because you kind of slapped this together like impromptu at the last minute.
Nah, what I did was, I tagged you on a community tab post, right? So I got what you're saying, man. Yeah, you need a little bit more, my bad, man.
Nah, it's, you know what? Because, like, I swear to God, I had, like, a little, like, family emergency last night, and I had to take a midnight road trip, so I'm, like, way in another state now, taking care of some other shit, and, like, I don't even got my setup or nothing. I was out. I had the kids with me, and I'll tell you about it later. But like, I had the kids with me earlier, and I had to look at my phone. I'm like, oh damn, this nigga calling me out. But now I actually do have a moment to talk to you, but I don't have none of my setup or nothing, so we just gonna tough it out.
Right, no doubt. So what? Okay, so let me start off by saying this, you know, and I need some likes, man. How many people we got? 54 watching, 40 likes, man. Yo, I wanna make this clear because you know, it seems like me and you, even though we don't agree on everything politically, right? Not everything. We agree on a lot. I got to say that. But we don't agree on every last thing. I'll say this. When me and you speak, we're good, but the audience ain't.
No, you know, I don't fault the audience, so I try not to like come over here with the spirit of like I'm gonna pick at the audience or whatever, because I understand that's not what I mean. No, there's a duality at play, meaning right. I get that you and I can have a rapport. The audience may not like what I want to say. So me taking a chance to go fight with the audience is only going to fuck up the rapport. So I'm not even going to pay attention to them.
That's not what I mean. I'm saying every time I have a conversation with you, bullets fly my way. They don't come. They don't come at you.
Well, yeah, but you in my audience though, and so you come in like kind of from a different angle. This is why I brought it up to like your audience to kind of compare the two things. I think it's going to be a similar situation.
No, the last time me and you were on here, my shit. Oh, that shit caused controversy. But anyway, we don't want to focus on that too much.
That's what I'm saying. Your audience disagrees with me. My audience disagrees with you. But you and I have a good rapport, and that's what's like. That's the duality of it.
I understand that, but you know, motherfuckers ain't making whole videos about you after you leave here.
Yo, you know what? Now that you got me on the spot, let me talk about that because I had no idea. I still don't really know what the actual disagreement is. I caught tail end of it, and I know y'all got a spat or whatever.
Let me say this quick. Let's not say names.
Right, because I'm pulling out of the middle. I listen, grown men gotta have their problems or whatever, and it's not on me to put my thumb on the scale just because I know you like a little bit.
Right. It's all good. So, first things first. Hold on. Let me see what Rob is talking about. He said LeBron James is an old man in basketball terms, but he old man and differently than the young players. I think that argument can be used for Trump. Trump is more coherent than Biden by far. I'm going to assume that you might not be able to, I can't hit the link, bro. I got you. Being a DEI, working at my black job. Shout out to my man, Black Light Revelations too, man. If y'all are into the politics and the politicking, and, you know, my man is Black CNN over there, man. Y'all need to check him out. He's on here and he's on Rumble. If you ain't following Rob, definitely check him out, man. Just sub to him, man. And you might see some pop up in your feed that you might find interesting. So the first thing I want you to do is speak on the video that we just watched. Hood. Well, okay, he did say that he's somewhere with some things and things is going on and shit is happening. Shout out to Shock, I see you. Said Biden's brain a thin milkshake. Hey man, motherfucker's old, man.
Yeah, my bad. He caught me off guard. I was taking care of something. The video about the reparations guy, right? The Marcel, what's his name? Marcel something. He's like from South Carolina, I believe. He's running for Congress or something. Or he was running for Congress at one point.
Marcel Dixon.
Yeah, I don't know his full name, but yeah, I think that's the guy. You know, I'm not a pro reparations candidate, so I'm not even going to go on like a long tirade against the whole thing. I think it's pretty obvious when you just don't agree with it, you're not going to sell me on it. The problem I have with it is like at the end, like that whole thing about what O'Shea saying. Do you have to support reparations to like be, I don't know, monetized or something? Like it's a philosophical debate, and it's now becoming like a black card issue.
I don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean to be monetized? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, let's take monetized off the table because I'm speaking about two different tangents at the same time. Let's take monetized off the table. With the issue of reparations, like, so if you don't support reparations, do you like lose your black card or something?
I don't think that's the point here. You can support it, you can not support it, but I mean, you just got to make it make sense. If you're gonna say you don't support it, that's fine. But then if someone asks you why, and you make any of the arguments made by the guy we just heard make some arguments against, then it's pretty fallacious. I'm not gonna ask you what are your reasons for not, backing reparations, because that's not what I want to do tonight. What I want is your opinion on, I mean, at least what Marcel said versus what Myron said. And as far as the logic concerned, I mean, you can feel how you feel about reparations, but I just want your opinion on that back and forth.
Well, I mean, without focusing on any specific line, it's hard for me to know exactly where you want me to comment. But I will say this: when you, as a person like myself who doesn't really believe in the reparations argument, it's something I see from the opposition, from the pro-reparations side. I don't think there's any point of logic that I can offer that will satisfy your query, because ultimately it's not a logical argument. I think it's an emotionally cogent argument, but it's not a logical argument, if that makes sense to you. Like, it appeals to the feelings, but it doesn't have a historical basis in the same way. Like, all of the reparations claim that you mentioned are not what you're asking for. They're not the same thing you're asking for with Black American reparations. Like what the Jews got, what the natives got, or whatever. That's not what Black people are asking for.
How you figure?
Well, because when it comes to, like, say, the Japanese who were interned, not every American, not every Japanese American got a check because of internment. The people who were interned, the people who lost property and can, like, make an actual case that was documentable, they were the ones who would get paid, but not every single person. And that doesn't even bring up the whole immigration argument and the fact that we have this influx of black people who have no true lineage to actual slavery, but they want to be a part of the legacy in terms of, like, reparations. The thing is, there's so many
that's not necessarily an argument against reparations. It's an argument against people who are not don't have the lineage.
Well, that's my point. I'm bringing that up to point out how it's emotionally attractive without actually satisfying all of the logical elements.
Well, so, this. Go ahead. I want you to finish your point, and I got to read super chats. Go ahead.
The last point I wanted to make is that the length I'm willing to go to support a reparations claim is a claim that actually has any chain of evidence that will be held up in court. Beyond that, it's just like you're saying bad things happen to black people back then. I'm black right now, and you owe me money. That's an emotional argument.
That's not what the reparations argument is.
Okay.
The reparations argument for black people is the same as it is for anybody else, right? What I realize, and then I'm gonna read y'all super chats. Don't think I'm forgetting y'all super chats, because I haven't read one super chat since I started. What I realize is people on the right, when they make an argument against black reparations, what I never hear them make an argument against is money going to a lot of other shit, like Ukrainian people in Israel, right? I never hear this. And don't do the thing now where you say, well, I don't like that either. But what I'm saying is nobody, without being prompted, makes these arguments, right? Okay, so nobody makes arguments that, like, those other groups of people that we just named, right? The people who were in the Holocaust, this ain't Germany. So if you're gonna make an argument like, well, how do we know? Like you just said, what Myron said. Well, how do we know who's really eligible and all this? It's pretty weak to say that, because again, that's an argument for who doesn't deserve it versus who does, but not that nobody deserves it. Because again, globally, people feel like when it comes to black people got to work for everything. And if anybody else get done wrong, an Asian or anybody else, then, then those people, right? We got to right those wrongs. Oh, not all the Japanese got it. Well, okay, so then the people who qualified got it. Well, there's some qualified people here. The reparations argument is not about some black people got done wrong. Okay, wealth was stolen from black people. Bodies were stolen. People were killed. All types of shit, right? Just like you dropped a bomb in Japan, they gave them reparations. People were put in a chamber in Germany. A war that we didn't even get involved in until later. America paid those people out. I don't hear these arguments made so much as what black people are or are not entitled to. And it seems like a bias, focus on what black people, even to the point where, well, all niggas gonna do is spin it. These are just simply anti-black American arguments, bro. That's what they are.
Can I ask you a question about Germany's scenario?
But before you do, I don't know who's in the background. I don't know who hit the link. I don't know who that is. You're going to have to say something in the chat, because I did say, if your name is not such and such, don't hit the link. Let me read real quick. Hold that thought, Hood. I got to read these super chats because I'm way behind, right? So let's start with Kobe. What's up, Kobe? He said, does Myron know about the Al-Nahyan family? The Waltons, the Hermes, Mars families all passed down their wealth to their children and generations moving forward. It's good to see you, man. Shout out to you, Kobe. I appreciate you. It's good to see you too, man. Thanks for jumping in here. Irvin Reed says, supporting my interests. SYSBM, we all we got. Move with the knowledge given. Stand on the wisdom learned. Never stop being 100. I appreciate you, bro. Thanks a lot. Revelator was good. So Revelator says, I think what Marcus was trying to say earlier, that there are certain audience members in Hood's faction that have smoke for Marcus who do not represent his channel. Pardon me if I don't read the rest of that, because I don't promote motherfuckers. You understand what I'm saying?
I think whatever beef you have doesn't represent my channel. I'll leave it at that.
I don't think it does, but what I'm saying, I'm just telling you what happens when we have these conversations. I don't blame you. I'm fucking with you about that. He said, yeah, nigga beef in particular, but I digress. Yeah, listen, I look, if a motherfucker's dick riding you, bro, it's not your fault, man. Shout out to Revelator, man. I appreciate you. Nah, so don't take it that way, bro. Leon 008. He says, Hood conservative mad because he really an island tether baby concubine. Let's get right to it. Just a fact. Island boy doesn't operate on conservative values. You are free to respond to that. If
well,
you
that's
choose
exactly
to.
That's exactly the whole question I raised to you earlier. Like, so you lose your black card. It's now it's like a litmus test issue, right?
It's not a black.
Which makes you right by default, no matter what, and that's what makes it evil. You're forcing the conversation into a position where you're unassailable by default. Because anything I say to you, I lose my black card. Like, nah, fuck that.
That's not what that comment represented. It wasn't about a black card. What he's saying is the only people that tend to disagree with reparations is people who are not eligible, and that has a lot of merit, to be honest, because that tends to be, and I'm not gonna call you all the shit that he called you, but I'm just saying it's not the people that come from other places are of African descent, right?
Well, if a person isn't eligible, why should they support it? Like, just because you black and I'm black, fuck you in your blackness, nigga. Like, what the fuck you think this is?
Okay, so the people who are not eligible, you said why should they support it? The same way we support other people's movements, the same way we ask people who are not black to support ours. I'm not going to reward you.
I'm not going to reward you because you were foolish enough to support me when I never loved you to begin with. You niggas are so fucking stupid about these things. You think these
you're saying a lot without saying it, right?
Do you think these other melanated niggas really love you? You think they wouldn't cut your throat and take your spot and put their kids in your fucking spot? Nigga, wake the fuck up. This is a zero-sum game and not everybody gets to win.
I'm going to let that sit for a second. You my guy, but you just said a mouthful, bro. Woo! Woo! Whoa! Whoa! I'm going to let that sit.
I'm sorry. I just got to the bottom of a really large beer. It might only get worse from here.
Hey, look. Speak your mind, bro. Let me make sure I work through all these. Okay, so we got one more. Ghetto user support. I appreciate you. Ghetto user 49. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that super chat. So let's go back here, man. So he said it, I didn't, y'all. He said it, I didn't. So let's
let me point something out to you. Let me give a quick personal backstory. Like I said, I'm in the middle of a tiny little family crisis or whatever. So I'm at my mother's house. I'm at my mother's house right now. She fell sick while she was watching my kids, so I had to come down here and take care of stuff. So now I'm sitting on a balcony, and I'm over top of literally an Arab and an African. Well, the Africans seem to be having a birthday party, and the Arabs are just hanging, chilling or whatever. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because you niggas are crying about shit while the door is closing on everything that you thought you were supposed to have. And you're crying about this silly reparations thing. Like, do you think the new wave of voters are going to vote for your reparations?
No. I don't think so. I think that's apart from the point, but I don't
I don't think it's apart from the point, because if the point is to distract niggas while other niggas take their slot, then go fight for reparations, bro.
I don't get it. It's nobody. Look, at the end of the day, neither can. This is my position on reparations, or at least what you're saying, right? It's my position that in politics you can't really advocate for that shit and win the presidency. You can't advocate to give black people money. And the reason why you can't do that is for the same reasons, that, I tell y'all that y'all kind of deny. If I say, well, the reason why you can't have these things is because generally white America doesn't like you and doesn't want you to have it. And the proof for that is that everybody but you got reparations and nobody had a problem with it, not including not only white America, but everybody else who got reparations and everybody else who's not eligible for reparations. Those people, right? So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, of course we can't get it because you would offend too many people. A lot of people, the first thing people, will say is, well, I don't want to pay taxes that go to black people, but they don't have a problem paying taxes that go to everybody else. It's only a problem when you think black people might get some of your taxes, right? So if someone, I'm not going to ask you again, we got to save this for the other stream, but what I'm saying is that's what it sounds like, because nobody makes these arguments when it's anyone else but black people, right? So that's all I'm saying. Like, go ahead.
I think it's only black people who are coming from this position, and that's what makes it,
how so?
On us.
How so?
I don't know that the reparations claims that you bring up, to kind of compare them to the black reparations claims, they are not broad. And I agree with you. If you have an individual case, something happened to you, and you can make a case for it, but you're making a broad case, and that's
explain the difference. I mean, the other cases are pretty broad, but explain. I'm interested in knowing. You say what you said. You said there's a difference between the case for reparations for black people and all those other cases for reparations. So explain. I would love to hear the difference.
Black people is a broad people group. Basically,
no, it's not. Black Americans. It's very specific.
Okay. Even still. Well, was every black American a slave during slavery?
No, but we know who. Again,
whoa.
Again, we're not making it. No, we're not making the case for every black American. We're making the case
every black American to have reparations.
We're making the case for everybody whose lineage traces back to slavery. It's very specific.
Okay, so you only want reparations for slavery, not for civil rights or Jim Crow or none of that, because other people have made such claims, and so I have to now ask.
Well, West Indians were here. Some West Indians were here during Jim Crow, and this. What again is very specific. It's about people whose lineage. You don't have to ask me any more questions after I say this. Black folks in America whose roots trace back to slavery. It's very specific.
Okay, fair enough. But is it strictly for slavery reparations, or are you ever going to expand it to, say, Jim Crow or the civil rights movement? Because I've heard this explanation. I've heard this expansion from other people, and I wonder if you're going to make the same claim.
Who's you? Me or black people?
Yes, you. No. I'm specifically asking you, so I understand how to proceed in this conversation.
Okay, so this is how we're going to proceed. So you do understand that the people whose lineage traces back to slavery were also here for Jim Crow and civil rights.
Right, but now you understand why
I don't think
mission creep.
I don't think. Hold on.
Continuously raise the bar, and then
there's no bar raised. It's the same people. So are you going to tell me there was slave ships in the 60s that was still bringing niggas over here?
Do you want slavery reparations or racism reparations?
Bro, your question has been answered already, bro.
Right, but if it's about slavery, why did you bring up? Why do you try to stretch it to Jim Crow and
who's you? I didn't say that. I
asked you, but I asked you because I had a suspicion, and you confirmed my suspicion.
I said people whose lineage trace back to slavery. That's the
But
answer.
then you also said they were alive during Jim Crow.
I
And the point
answered
is, why,
your question.
why
You
does that,
asked
why
me
is that
about Jim
relevant?
Crow. I said that those same people who roots trace back to slavery, the generationally, everything that happened during slavery went all the way through that time period. There wasn't a time period where they brought some people over here that didn't experience that from Africa, right? What I'm saying to you is they're the same group of people. It's not a new argument. They're the same group of people. It's just that, hold on, I'm answering your question so you don't have to ask it again. The same atrocities, all that happened to the same people.
Here's the problem.
It's not a different group of people. No, you're saying, well, how do we tell which group? No, it's the same group. So it's not a group. It's not a group that was slaves and a group that only suffered Jim Crow. It's the same group of people.
At best, the American legal system can only handle this from a class action lawsuit format. Meaning, even under a class action lawsuit, it's not just a broad, faceless, nameless group of people. Hold on, let me finish my point. And no matter what you say, the practical application of that is to just give niggas money. Yes, and you want slavery reparations. If you want to make it a limited to just somebody who was a descendant of slavery, fine. But then the civil rights era has no place in this conversation. And when I asked you about it, you felt it needed to be in the conversation. And that's why we have issue here.
No, you brought it up. I didn't.
I brought it up to see, and then you said yes, they should be.
I said it's the same group of people. I didn't say, well,
why does it matter though? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Should they be compensated for civil rights issues?
Let's recall what happened here. I said the black people in America whose roots trace back to slavery. You expanded it to civil rights, not me. So hold on. So let me finish now before you jump in.
Okay.
You asked me, well, what about civil rights? I said it's the same group of people. I didn't bring up a new set of black people who also suffered. No, hold on. So who also suffered civil rights for me to make a point that those people also should receive reparations. Civil. Hold on. No, you kind of are, because you're saying you. That's why I said who's you. You said that
you're inaccurate. You're inaccurate about the focus of my accusation.
You said that I am including civil rights into the argument. I did not do that. You did.
Okay.
And everybody heard you do it. You did that.
For fair enough. I'll accept that up to this point. Now, for clarification, is the claim limited to the debts owed from slavery, or would you expand it to debts owed during, say, Jim Crow and civil rights? Debts that were.
You're asking me the same question again.
And I want to be very clear, because I know how this works.
Hold on, let me read some of these super chats. You know, I got some more super chats here. So shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Ask a simple question: what compensation should be given for the wrongs done to black Americans, right? And I just want to point out that we're talking about reparations, but no time in this conversation did I make an argument for what form that should take. I didn't say a check. I didn't say any of that shit. Just said reparations, right? So shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. He said, ask a simple question: what compensation should be given for the wrongs done to black Americans? I'm gonna let Hood answer that, but I would imagine he thinks nothing should be given to black Americans for the wrongs done. Again, this country has done wrongs to other people. I have yet to get an answer for the difference between reparations for those people and reparations for black people. I have yet to get an answer for that. Before you respond, let me go through these super chats, right? So Revelator said, I like Hood conservative, but after what he said, I believe it's fair to ask, are your parents from here or from somewhere else? That's something for him to answer. I think most of us, Hood doesn't hide what his lineage is, but so let's start here, right? You asked me the question again. I don't want to go in circles with that. You asked me already. So the last thing is, I'm still waiting for an answer, right? A definitive answer of what's the difference between reparations for the other groups that were done wrong by America, and one group that wasn't done wrong by America that got reparations from America and reparations for black people? You said there's a difference, so I'd like to know.
Yeah, the difference is you're making a claim as if these other groups are just like we dropped a bag of money on a random group of Asians and said, here, Japanese reparations. You're kind of arguing from that standpoint, and that's just not practical. That's not how anything works.
But I already specified which group.
All right,
it's not a random group of black
people. Let's put a
people.
pin in that. Let's put a pin in that, because now you have to do the whole lineage thing and all that, and I'm not even going to fight you on all that. I want to see how far that argument gets, because listen, if you can make a claim that something was taken from you, some damage was done to you, and you want to fight it on those terms, then I'll accept that. But I just don't like this. I don't like this broad, faceless claim like we should all be owed something. No, that's not how anything works.
They did lineage for Native Americans, correct?
I don't know that they did that.
No, they definitely did. So
native DNA is a very controversial thing, honestly.
So okay, but they did do that. They did lineage for Holocaust survivors, correct?
Again, even Jewish DNA is a controversial thing, so I don't.
It's a yes or no question, Hood.
I don't accept that answer. I think that
no, I didn't give an answer.
No.
I'm asking you.
When it comes to the reparations of, say, Jews, that wasn't solved by DNA. Where are you even coming from?
So then let me ask you this. So then under what criteria, because they did pay those people that I just named. Under what criteria?
Taxes.
Was it random, or did they have criteria for the people?
Receipts and property records.
Okay, so that was the criteria, right?
Right. It
so that was it. So that
we got the blood for money. What the hell is that?
So they didn't do lineage for natives. Natives are very distinct people. You telling me that they didn't do lineage for natives? They had to have property records?
When it comes to reparations for natives, you have to explain to me how that works, because I don't buy the reparations for natives argument. That's your claim, and I don't.
No, it happened though.
Well, it's not my argument, because I don't know what you're even referring to, so I can't co-sign none of it.
Shout out to John Gullery. He said, "Respect to keep it 100." I appreciate that. Right. So we do know that America paid out reparations to different groups of people, including slave owners, right?
Different tribes, yeah, true.
Different tribes, all these things.
In some cases, but you have to enumerate you have to like explain the individual cases, because they weren't all the same thing for everybody. You know what I mean?
So I think I missed the super chat. H. Chris Singleton. Let me look for him. I see it on the screen and make sure I don't miss anybody. If I miss your super chat, man, I need you to shout me out in the chat. Let me go down the line. I read that one. Okay. If the government pays FBA reparations, will it come from taxpaying citizens? And if so, will it cause inflation? We pay everybody else through taxes. We pay Israel through taxes. We pay Ukraine through taxes. Every other foreign aid that the U.S. does, we pay through taxes. I don't understand. Hold on. I mean, I'm comparing what? It's the same shit, bro. Where else would the money come from? The same.
You're comparing the noble claim of reparations because we were legitimate victims to two of the biggest global scams going on.
You drop down. Hood, I lost you. Hold on.
Oh, am I still here?
You're back.
Okay, no, I'm saying you're comparing the noble claim of reparations because we were all innocent victims to two of the biggest global scams that exist in the world right now. Like, you don't even hear the comparisons. Ukraine, Israel, we give them a shitload of money every year, and it's crooked as fuck. And you're comparing this crooked as fuck operation to reparations.
But y'all don't make arguments against that. I don't see people making arguments against those two things
No,
like they
you're
make
the one.
for reparations.
You're the one arguing that your claim is as crooked as all these other giant crooked claims, and
No,
I'm
I'm
like,
not making
yes,
that.
yes,
No, I'm
they
not
are.
making
They're
that
all
argument.
scams. They're all scams.
No, I'm not making that argument. I'm answering his question. He asked where the money will come from, and I said it'll come from the same place that the money comes from for everything else. That's what that was. I'm not making a claim that anything's crooked. You're trying to twist me. Don't that was crazy. That was wild. But what
No,
I'm saying,
I claim it. You don't, but fair enough.
no, you could claim it, but it's not crooked. Because that would mean the Japanese reparations was crooked and everybody else. So what I'm saying is I never hear this energy. You never get this energy for anyone else getting reparations unless you talk about black folks.
Now, you don't understand the thing about Japan. Not only did we nuke them, we made them our puppies for like 40 years. Like, seriously, bro. Reparations. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, they got some money.
So let me get this straight. So hold on.
Because of the deals they made with us.
So hold on. So let me get this straight. So we made the Japanese puppies for 40 years. You add a zero onto that, and you talking about black people. So they got their reparations for the 40.
Right.
We don't deserve shit for 400. Is that what you saying?
What amount of money can actually solve that?
I didn't say money.
Well, what can solve that?
No, let's get to that later. We can talk about what form reparations can take later because everything wasn't a check. In the case of Native Americans, they got a bunch of different things that was not about a check. I am of the belief that it shouldn't be a check. I don't think that reparations should be a check because if you pay out, let's say in 2024, let's say this November, America paid out reparations to black people in America in the form of a check. Does that solve the problem? No, because the generation after us on some Gary Coleman shit, if your mama blew the reparations check, right? Then how does that help the next generation of people? It doesn't. So at the end of the day, no, it shouldn't take the form of a check. Since you asked that question, that's my answer, right? But I wasn't making the argument that it should be about some money. It just blows my mind. Not really, but it just blows my mind that these are the questions that come up. And whenever, the idea of black people getting some money or any other benefit it could potentially happen, but people pay their taxes willingly for that shit to go overseas to people that don't even live here. And I don't see anybody on the right pushing that as a campaign promise that your taxes won't go to these other people that don't live in America.
Are you arguing that there are people on the right who don't want to cut off Israel entirely? The problem is those people are the far right. They're not even the acceptable right. That's where I land. I'm on the far right. I say cut all these niggas off.
So let me finish reading these super chats. Shout out to Wannabe Mystic. He said, I have driven out to reservations in Montana, Wyoming, and North Dakota. All the tribes are still getting reparations. He's lying, right? So let's go to Win, Lose a Rug. Reparations will come from the Federal Reserve and their ability to print money. It won't affect inflation because the U.S. dollar's global valuation and circulation prevent that. I appreciate both of y'all for the super chats and for the comments.
That is not sound economic theory. The last commenter, the literal act of printing money directly impacts inflation. This is basic economics, man.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, where's that argument when money goes to these other countries? Now you're saying, well, fuck them, cut them off too. What I'm saying is, this is not I don't see a movement coming from. Anytime you hear conservatives talk, they'll speak against reparations. As soon as you speak about other groups, that's when they'll say, oh yeah, fuck them too. But you never hear the argument without a prompt.
Yes, because the consistent theme is conservatives say fuck them too. Across the board. It's not even racist, honestly. It's like, why should I pay anything for you? I don't even know if I like you. Why you want my money? Like, this whole thing doesn't make sense. And so if you're a conservative, This is why I don't like that Marcel guy, by the way, because he's selling himself on the right in a certain way. Nigga, go on the left, go be a fucking Democrat and fight for reparations, go fight for gay politics, go fight for your black fist in the air, and go be a fucking Democrat. But don't come over here trying to be a conservative with that shit. This is how we feel, and this is where we stand. We are what we are, nigga.
But that's not what he said. What he said is that the right has to work out people who represent their side with outright bigotry.
We don't have to work out the reparations argument. If you want reparations, that's not what he
said. That's not what he said. I'm going to repeat it again.
You can accuse people of bigotry for not supporting reparations, and you can also go suck a dick, bro, because the right does not have to support reparations.
Bigotry from the right doesn't only come in the form of not supporting reparations. Bigotry,
but that's his charge at that point, and that's why I rejected it on that level, because you're only saying that because I don't support you. Fuck you, nigga.
Okay, but that's not what he's saying. What I heard what he said. What he's saying is, and you got to let me finish my sentence this time. What he's saying is, and what I'm saying is, there's a lot of flat out bigotry, flat out racism that comes from the right. Not saying that the whole party is like that. What he's saying is that the conservatives, and there are conservatives who don't push that sentiment, they have to address the bigots in their party. That's what he's saying. And hold on, let me finish, bro. What he's saying is, and you're trying to make their bigotry about, oh, we don't support your cause. No, we're talking about flat out bigotry that has nothing to do with the things we're talking about. Just an obvious and apparent hate for black people, bro.
Let me read. This is a mind fuck. All right, read what you wanted to read. I'll wait.
So Nigel says it is cash payments as well as multiple government policies and initiatives. It is not just a check. It is multi-generational payments. What's so hard for people to understand about this? Yes, it's cash payments too. So as when I think it was Win, Lose, or Rug said earlier, or what? Somebody, let me go back to the super chat, right? Because when we talk about who can only get reparations, if Native Americans are still getting paid reparations. We talking about Native Americans in 2024. They weren't around, right? For when
somebody call me a liar. Sorry, somebody call me a liar. Hold on. I don't know if it's true, bro. I'm not saying it is or isn't.
So we're gonna deny what happened to the Native Americans in North America?
I deny whether or not they get reparations. Explain the reparations.
They definitely
Native Americans. No, explain it to me. What do you mean when you say they get reparations? I want to understand this.
Hold on, before I do that, because you're way too informed to be playing the obtuse role right now. You're way too informed. So let me go to this was the comment I was looking for. All the tribes are still getting reparations. So it is your argument that they're not getting reparations?
I don't know what you're calling reparations, so I want you to be clear and objective about what you're saying reparations are and how the Native Americans received it. I just want a concise explanation of Native American reparations without being slandered and attacked as like I'm stupid.
Me personally, I and don't take this wrong, but I don't think you're stupid. The reason why I don't believe what you're saying is because I know that you're smarter and more informed than what you're giving off right now. If I thought you were stupid, then I could accept you not knowing that, and I don't think you're stupid. You cannot. I mean, this is not the first time you've addressed this topic, so I would not believe that you would not know that Native Americans in America, and you've been living in this motherfucker as long as you have. Talking about politics as long as you have.
What did they get? You still haven't said what they received.
They get tax incentives and a bunch of other different things. I think something else. They can run casinos without. I know they don't get taxed for shit. I drove from. No, hold on. I'm answering your question, bro. I drove from New York all the way to Nevada in a box truck. Right, to bring my box truck out here, right? And on my way out here, I've seen not only reservations, and there's reservations in Nevada. The Native Americans have not only casinos, but also gas stations. I took pictures of these things on the way here, right? Hold on, somebody sent me something. Okay. Shout out to you for that. I'm gonna I guess play. Do you want me to play that? Cause I'll play it. But you know what? We could just pull this up. It ain't nothing. It's like what I said on your stream. This is information that's easily pulled up, bro. If that's what you want me to do. Is that what you want me to do?
If so, because I'm just asking. So so when black people ask for reparations and we point to the natives as examples, are we saying we want a casino? Are we saying we want a reservation? Like, what are we asking for? Because what are we calling reparations? Are we saying these are their reparations? Because my immediate response to that is that the natives as a block didn't receive that. Tribes across the country receive different individual deals with their state and federal government. These are not the same things, and you're so muddying the waters to get mass black support.
How am I doing that? What did I say?
Because you're saying black people in America are not a bunch of tribes all over the country. So one of us gets some casinos that solves all of our problems. Like
so one,
the native comparison
no, you're being a little extra right now with what you just said. You're saying, does this solve all our problems? No, it ain't about we got to get what they got. Our reparations don't have to be their reparations. Our reparations could be whatever we negotiate, but our reparations is we have a case for reparations that's different from their case. So let's
realize the tribes have individual chiefs and leaders who represent their individual groups.
Okay, so
they represent them on an individual basis. This is not a black scenario, brother.
You want to answer? So what? So I'm not saying that we should get what they got. I'm saying what you're saying. Our situation is unique. So that our situation, I'm just showing you. Ask me, are they getting reparations? And I'm telling you what they got in the form of reparations. I'm not making an argument that we should get what they got. You're saying you're doing debate games, bro. What I'm saying to you is, bro, if you're gonna make the argument that black folks should not get reparations, you should base that on something, especially if America has given reparations to various other groups and America's still here. Reparations to black people ain't gonna break America. It didn't break America giving money to everybody else, including foreign aid to people who America didn't do shit to.
I don't care what it costs, what it cooked like. This shit ain't about nothing. Like you don't necessarily deserve it just because you want it.
You got to make a logical argument at some point, bro. Because
but you're not making a logical argument either, just by saying that slavery happened and black folks should get money.
I absolutely am making a logical argument.
Where else in the history of the world were people set free by war and then given money after?
I just named a few.
None of those cases are the case of black people, though. You're talking about some individual things,
so
right?
then you're saying that the difference. So then you're saying that the difference in why you feel reparations is different because this is black people and those aren't. You said those aren't black people.
No,
so are you saying
those scenarios are very different. Not the
those scenarios. No. Two of those are very connected to war. The Japanese. Hold on. You said it wasn't about war.
I am not saying connected to war. Let me roll it back. It's not that they're connected to war. I'm saying the price of your freedom was the war of the people who enslaved you. You were freed by war. You weren't freed because you niggas just felt sorry for you. You weren't free because people suddenly realized a new level of morality. You were freed by war. That is your fucking reparations. Freedom itself.
Bullshit. So let me ask you this. So let me ask you this. Why was America obligated to give Japan money when they were at war with them?
We weren't obligated to give Japan money.
But we
built them up so they could be our fucking puppy. We needed a strong puppy in the Asian Pacific coast. We needed somebody. We didn't build them up. But no. The question you asked me hinges on obligation, and I'm saying there was no obligation.
Okay,
there was only usefulness.
But you're saying that they're not obligated to us. That's why
they weren't. They're not.
Okay, so then that's why I asked, why were they obligated to the Japanese? You're invoking obligation, not me.
You asked the question about obligation, and I rejected it. But if I nuke you and I still
Okay.
have all the nukes, what am I obligated to, brother? You just got
what
nuked.
I'm
Get the fuck outta
asking.
here.
So what I'm
And not
asking
only
you
that,
is,
you're a slave. You just got freed from slavery. I freed you. Get the fuck out of here. Talking about
okay,
what
well
I owe you.
the Japanese were our enemies in a war, and then we bombed them and then paid them. So why would America do that and not this?
Just because we did it doesn't make it logically true according to your framework. That was not out of a
But you don't
moral
have an issue with
obligation.
it. You're not arguing against it.
You're goal posting, bro. You're goal posting. Let's do it
No,
one at a time.
I'm really not.
One at a time. One at a time.
I'm really not.
As far as an obligation, any kind of moral obligation, we owed them nothing. If we had to nuke them and built a Kansas 2 on Japan, then that's our fucking right because we won. And we could genocide you if we want. Who's going to stop us?
Okay,
God, let him.
But they
let God
didn't
stop me.
But they didn't.
Right, but there was no moral obligation. We just decided not to. Nobody made us not do that. There was no forced obligation.
So there's no such thing as so there's no UN, right?
The UN is gay and fake, bro. What are you talking about? The UN. The UN didn't even exist when we dropped the bomb on Japan.
Come on, man. All right, so real quick, let me I'm gonna play this video.
You realize America pays for the UN. What happens to the UN when we stop paying their bills?
That's
this whole thing is so fake, bro. No, you don't understand. I'm talking about real politics. If I have all the nukes and you have none, and I nuke you, you can't talk to me about what I owe you. I'll just nuke you some more. What the hell are we even doing here?
But they didn't. They paid them. That's
right.
What you're saying. Hold on.
Now then argue obligation though.
Hold on, Hood. What you're saying we could have done, we did not do. Instead, we paid them. So if you can pay them, you can pay us. It's the same shit, right?
It's
so
not,
you're saying,
it's not though. It's not. I'll explain why it's not. I'll explain why it's not. Because again, we built Japan up to be strategic military assets and allies in a particular region.
No, we could have nuked them again
to China. We didn't
could have turned them to
to.
Kansas.
But they were our puppy. They were our puppy at that point.
No, but we could have turned them to Kansas.
We nuked all the samurai. They weren't samuraiing no more. We did that. We did that. That's USA, nigga. We did that. And so after we stopped them from doing samurai shit, now they work for us. Now the question is, what value do you offer as the black side of this argument if you want to make that claim?
Because we're American citizens. Why would
value?
you hold on?
Citizenship isn't a value though.
Hey, bro, you asked me a question. You gotta let me answer. Let's not do the thing where you monopolize the floor, bro. Let's pass the mic. You asked me what benefit do America get from doing shit for black people who live here? You telling me that us as American citizens who live here and pay taxes to America, you're telling me that...
Do we?
No, hold on. Yeah, yes, we do. Knock it off. Knock it off, bro. Knock it off. You're telling me that empowering your own citizens is detrimental to the country? What do you think the downside of it is? You're telling me that it's... Hold on. Let me ask you this. Matter of fact, not only tell me the downside, but tell me why it's important to do things for Holocaust survivors, slave owners, Ukraine, and all these other groups, right? Tell me why we smallpox the shit out of the natives and then we did what we did with them. What was the benefit to that if it's about benefit to the country? How did America benefit by giving the Native American reparations? You saying it's not a moral thing. I'm saying
at the very least, the natives fought bloody wars. I mean, we named teams after native warriors.
Black men, black people didn't fight wars for America.
No, black folk in America have never fought a race war in that way. Like the natives
it don't matter. It doesn't matter the war. We didn't fight wars for America.
You want what they got, but you think the truth don't matter. They didn't do what we did.
Of course, the truth
matters. The natives weren't enslaved in mass like black folk were. You can't compare them to us.
You telling me? Hold on. I can actually make the argument that black men, black people might have contributed more to America. So I mean, you're telling me you don't even know they got reparations. So, and I can almost make the argument that you might be a little underinformed about the shit we're talking
No,
about.
you're mistaken. I think you're shifting. You're goalposting now.
No, I'm not goalposting. You said that you don't even know if they got reparations. Like I have to prove it to you. And this is again
because it's a claim that you assert.
It's not a claim.
I don't know what you're saying to be true.
You're telling me that you're not aware. This is wetness of water arguments, bro. You're telling me that you're not even aware if they got reparations. Everybody in attendance to listening to this conversation understands that Native Americans, it's not even a question or debate that Native Americans got reparations. Now, if you want to talk about the form of reparations, we can do that. But don't question if it happened at all because it's a fact.
I think you're misleading your quote people when you say Native Americans got reparations, therefore you should get reparations. When the simple fact
that's
is
not what I said.
Tribes made deals with the government. Tribes of different Native Americans. So
of the Native Americans. So then it's safe to say that Native Americans got reparations. I never made the argument that all Native Americans or all black people. I said specific. That's where we started at. We are being specific. If you're talking about tribes, we're also talking about people whose lineage trace back to American chattel slavery. That is specific. I didn't say random people. I made a specific claim. So if that's specific, then this is specific. It's specific. You keep going back to it's random niggas. That's not an argument, bro. You're goalposting.
I'll accept that.
You're goalposting.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that. Right now, I'll accept that.
No doubt.
You stand on you making a specific claim about the ADOS, the FBA, descendants of
absolutely.
Slaves. And as long as it's concise in that element, I really don't want to fight you on that.
Nah, we're not fighting. This is
no. Let me make my point though, because we're doing good. But let me make my point. I think the disagreement is that I don't believe in a broad-based black reparations. But everything you say kind of
you're going back to that.
You mean that, or whether or not you mean that or not, I keep hearing it like that, and so I kind of have to give you some credit on that. If you say
no, you kind of straw manning me. You have to straw man it to that to make your argument. What I'm saying is very specific, and then you drag it back to a broad-based argument so that you can debate that. You're debating the argument that you're creating, not the one that I'm making.
You know what? I'm going to grant you that. Let's move on.
Okay, no doubt. You my man. So Wannabe Mystic says zero government tax, no government police on their lands, and cash payment to tribal elders. Many natives also have white blood and only 12% are full bloods. Thank you for that. And he's outlining what the natives got. This is the reparations that Native Americans received in the United States. So that's those were the items. Okay. Lord Lovesmiths. Hood, where's your dog in this fight? Your family isn't even from this let's make this clear.
Let me answer that directly.
Go, let me finish reading it because it's a super chat. I got to read the whole thing. Motherfuckers is paying. So your family isn't even from this country. Truth is some of these dusty immigrants just want to kiss up to white folks to gain approval. Your response?
I'm 50-50, bro. I got half slave blood going back to North Carolina, and then I got half Caribbean blood going back to the Caribbean, and they were slaves too. So like that, the idea that I don't have slave blood is fucking hilarious. My slavery goes beyond these borders, nigga. Shut the fuck up.
But then
my father was kicking cane while you niggas was up here fighting for Jordans and shit.
Is it fair to say that your claim would be with your colonizer?
No, I'm not making a claim at all, though, because I'm moving forward. I'm not moving toward a claim about something I don't feel any connection to. Honestly, my grandmother doesn't fight. But I never heard my grandmother once talk about reparations. Like that shit is almost a new thing.
So, shout out to Wannabe Mystic and Lord Lovesmith for your super chats. Let me continue. Revelator, no disrespect to hood conservative, but there is no we. There is no flat blackness. Reparations are only owed to those American black people whose lineage goes back to Jim Crow and chattel slavery on this particular soil. Right. So if you, again, nobody's claiming that America, slavery is unique to America. What I would say is I can't make a claim against the bully that took your lunch money at your school in your schoolyard.
You know how he threw Jim Crow in there at the tail end, and this is why you and I totally agree. I'm accusing you of that, and you keep denying it fairly. But this is why
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
I acknowledge it, bro. I'm acknowledging my fault. So just let me say that. This is why I'm so suspicious of your position, because your position comes with these niggas, and there's way more of him than
no. Them niggas are saying what they're saying. I'm saying what I'm saying, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't have to include Jim Crow. I don't have to do it because the same generations suffered both. So I don't even have to include it. Okay? I don't have to include it. And neither does anyone else. Nobody has to include Jim Crow. All you have to do is talk about slavery. Because the generations that come from slavery also suffered Jim Crow as a package. So you don't even have to mention it. It's not two sets of people that you have to divide like, okay, y'all the slave niggas and y'all the Jim Crow niggas. It's the same people. So it doesn't even make sense because that causes confusion. That argument would look like this. If I have family that trace back to slavery, but then your family got here in the 60s and they suffered Jim Crow, that would make you eligible for Jim Crow reparations and me eligible for slavery reparations. No. Fuck all that. Chattel slavery. That's all we got to say. Right? Chattel slavery. It's the same people. That eliminates everybody else that could try to tie themselves to the argument. The problem that I have with a lot of these conversations is when that Mandela shit was going on in South Africa, Black Americans were behind that shit. We wore red, black, and green. You know, we wore fucking black leather medallions and shit. Stop apartheid. Save our black girls or find our girls or whatever. You got Oprah going to Africa, starting schools and shit. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is, that love never comes back. You're half American. You've been here long enough. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You from NY like I am. You remember the pro-black hip-hop shit where niggas in America was promoting the movements, the freedom fights of people abroad, black people abroad. The Haitian shit too. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is there is this Pan-African idealism that comes from Black America where we feel connected to people from the islands and from the continent. And the things that happen to them, we feel it. You understand what I'm saying? We say that's fucked up. When you got Julius Malema, if I'm saying his name correctly, you got them guys in Africa taking land from the white people, the white farmers or whatever, and giving it back to Africans. We all champion that shit. We don't say, well, where's our land? Y'all sold us to white people. Y'all should give us some farmland. Africans. We don't say that. We champion the cause. You hear it all over this internet. You grew up with that shit in New York. But then niggas in America fight the American white people for the shit that happened to them here. And the first thing that happens is we get smoked from the same people we supported. And that shit is sad shit, bro. That's how we feel about it. Now, everybody can feel proud and, oh, we don't need this and this and this. But again, like I said earlier, when that Myron shit was playing, everybody that comes from these places came here for a come up. Everybody that came up here came up here for a come up. And this shit that you came for came from the blood of Black Americans. Brandy. It came from the blood of Black Americans, bro. Now, we can pretend that we don't know about that either. But again, it's arguing the wetness of water, and these are facts that can't be refuted. Let me let me read some, and you can respond to what I'm saying in a second. I just want to read some of these super chats, right? So this is, I'm gonna be honest, this was not the conversation I was expecting. Okay, eat popcorn. The Tims are out tonight. Andre 420, what's good? What's good? Adric, Hoodservative. Not enough time to teach you American history. Start with a book. Google is also your friend. You can feel free to respond to any of this stuff. Shout out to Adric for the super chat. Irvin Reed, I think you just identified the issue. These entities, ADOS is trying to assert ourselves as an entity, and being validated via reparations makes all others very uncomfortable. I would argue that Black Americans fighting for anything, right? When they're being specific, everything is cool if we say people of color and shit like that and whatever. Like if we include everybody, then that's when everybody's black and everybody supports it. But then if you say, wait, hold up, we done did all of that already. We done did the people of color and all of this other shit at this point in time, because a lot of people came from the islands and they came from Africa and they came and got a lot of shit that was actually outlined for us. I ain't mad. I tell people all the time, it's not about, like they say, well, they came and took the black jobs or they stole jobs. You can't steal a job. You can't take a job. Jobs are given. If people come from Mexico and get jobs, they didn't steal those jobs. They were given those jobs. If people come from Jamaica or Trinidad or Grenada or anywhere in the West Indies, they didn't come here to steal jobs. You can't steal a job. You don't walk up in a place, a business, and pull a gun out and say, give me a job, motherfucker, or else. And it would be unrealistic to think that people will come from these places and turn down positions that was slated for us. It's an opportunity. Who's going to turn down an opportunity? So you gotta, the blame rests not with those people taking these things or taking these opportunities, but with the people that are giving it to them as opposed to the people that were supposed to get them. The problem is when we say, hey, no, that was for us, after years and actually decades of it being the other way, that's when everybody starts to feel away.
I think there is a different problem here, and yeah, I want to kind of move on from the reparations thing a bit too, but I think the different problem here is we're in a pan-Africanist mindset. We were in a pan-blackness mindset when no other people naturally feel this way. And this has been a problem that has been growing, and it's now biting black folk in the face, whether it's the Latino vote, whether it's the Africans, whether it's the Arabs or whatever. The idea, when it comes back to something like the Rainbow Coalition or whatever, this concept that all the non-white groups somehow had something in common and therefore we should all align together politically, all that stuff is now put us in a place where instead of having to only deal with the white people and that one set of interests, we now have a myriad set of competing interests that are all attempting to overwhelm the black interests right now. And so it doesn't matter whether you're talking about the foreign blacks, whether you're talking about the Latino vote or the foreign Muslim vote. All of these individual groups have the potential to completely derail everything that you've been working on all this time under the guise of blackness. And the problem is it's been a poison pill that was swallowed under this false notion of pan-Africanism, pan-blackness. There is no pan-blackness. There's only you and yours. There's only, at best, you can be a nationalist, but anything beyond that is way too complicated to hold together. And this is the problem that black folk are finding themselves in now. The very creation of something like ADOS or FBA is a reluctant effort to finally become a black American nationalist, right? Now your nationalism isn't based just on global blackness, your nationalism is tied to your American blood and soil argument because slaves put blood in this soil, and that's what you're standing on as FBA and as ADOS.
Can I respond to that? Shout out to Adrian Hicks. Adrian Hicks, let me go back to his comment. Said Adrian Hicks says there were only 500,000 Jamaicans in America by the year 2000. So let's talk about reparations for Jim Crow too. Adrian, the reason we don't have to is what I said earlier. The generations that suffered slavery were also here for Jim Crow. So it's kind of baked in the cake. So you don't have to do that. Right.
I think the tail end of slavery suffered Jim Crow, to be more accurate. But
I'm sorry.
I said the tail end of Jim Crow, the tail end of the generations of slavery, they suffered Jim Crow, right? Not because slavery is 400 years. You know what I'm saying? Only the last bit of them niggas actually felt Jim Crow too.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just my response to that. But so now let me respond to what you said a second ago, right? I'm from New York, as are you. New York is probably one of the, if not the most diverse city in the nation. Okay, you're half Caribbean. I grew up around Caribbeans. Okay, as a person that grew up in Flatbush, I went to high school surrounded by kids that came from different islands. I was a minority as a Black American in these classrooms. So a lot of these conversations like what we're having now, I would have with these kids where they would tell me how great their country was and how shitty America was while sitting in an American classroom getting a free education, right? So what I'm saying is, you're saying that this FBA ADOS thing has created, this is what I'm getting from it, right? So I'm going to paraphrase you, has created kind of like this divisive politic. That's bullshit. Again, I'm from the city, bro. And I know from a lifetime of experience that people from other places wave their flag when necessary, and then they tuck that bitch in their pocket when it's time to be black. Right? So, bro, you're from, now, before you respond to this, let me say this to you. I fuck with my Caribbean and my continental people, but I know this to be true. I can drag my niggas in here from these places to validate everything that I'm saying. They know it. I know it. It's not even deniable. This is the culture of what we come from. When Labor Day come, the Guyanese flags come out, the Jamaican flags come out, the Trini flags come out, all the flags come out. If there was reparations to be paid to Jamaicans in America, y'all motherfuckers would be like, nope, fuck y'all American niggas, this is our money. And y'all would wave that Jamaican ass flag high and say, nope, we Jamaican, bumba clot, rasta clot, pussy clot, all that shit, right? Y'all wouldn't be saying, we black and niggas in America suffered too, so let's pay out everybody. Y'all would be like, nope, Aki and Sawfish, this is our money. Again, when it's time to be black, niggas tuck their flag in their pocket. But when it's time to be Jamaican, Trini, or any other thing, because there are things in New York specified for people from these places, that's when the flags come out. That's when the accents come out. And all that shit. Bro, you grew up where I grew up. Let's not play these games.
What games are we talking about?
No. I'm just saying.
They are national. They are nationalist when it comes to their national interest, right? And your slavery argument is an American black interest. It's not a Jamaican black interest, right? It's an American national interest.
I love that you said that. I love that you said that.
we have no business expecting them to share in our nationality when they have a nationality all to their own that they already love. And I'm arguing it was foolish on our part. This whole concept of Pan-Africanism, like we're all black, therefore we all have the same problems and same interests. Do you know how politics works in Jamaica? Them niggas gun each other down. Their political parties be
I've been
having
to
wars
Jamaica.
in the
Yeah,
streets, bro.
PNP, JLP, I know all
Yeah,
about it.
yo, so they don't
grew up
have
with this
any.
shit.
Their relationship to politics is nothing like what we're talking about.
It's gang shit.
So
You
to expect them to even come at it from
nobody
our
is.
angle,
Hold on.
it's false, and we can't put that on them.
Again,
And we shouldn't want that from them.
you're misrepresenting my argument. Nobody's saying that they should. I'm saying what they do. What I'm saying is, if you're saying Jamaicans have their own shit to deal with, and I love that you said that. And if Jamaicans are not expected to do this, that, and the other, and focus on their shit, then why the fuck do they invoke themselves into our conversations with this nation?
Because we did that. This is my point. Because
Who's
say
we?
everybody who's black
we?
is just like us.
No. Who's we? Who's we?
We as black Americans, because Pan-Africanism is a black American invention. The idea that we're all black together, niggas in Africa don't never believe that shit. They've been black together for a billion years and they've been eating each other.
So understand this. This thing that we're talking about now, when we talk about the West Indies and black Americans, has nothing to do with Pan-Africanism. What I'm telling you is, again, in New York, where black Americans and West Indians live together, there's this thing that happens in New York City culture where you're American when it's necessary, and then when you're Caribbean when it's necessary, right? So what I'm saying is, niggas are niggas all day. Niggas are niggas all day. Day in, day out, nigga, motherfucking nigga all day. So what Caribbeans do is this particular type of code switching when, again, it's that same type, if you want to call it Pan-Caribbean shit, where it's like, oh, we're all together, brother, we're all together. And then when, again, you stand to benefit from identifying with your Caribbean roots, then you revert to that.
Can you fault me for taking advantage of something that benefits me and hurts you?
That's great. So then, if that's the case, if you're gonna, and that's a logical argument, if you're gonna make that argument, then understand this: we're gonna make the argument that, motherfucker, you don't trace back to this, you have no connection to this, therefore you can't benefit from it. And that shouldn't be, hold on, that shouldn't be all of a sudden, oh, it's divisive and you hate us and blah, 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 because then you're trying to Pan-African your way back into black America.
But hear me out
with that argument.
Hear me out for a second. That's where I am. So, I've been wondering, like, can a black person be far right? Like, because we associate the far right with like racist white people. Whatever.
We can be conservative, and we are.
Then I look at like other black immigrants, right? Who they look like me theoretically, but like they not like us, nigga. I'm from Brooklyn. You don't know me, and I don't know you. Your life ain't like mine. And so like maybe just because they look like me doesn't mean I should give a fuck about them.
So shout out to Revelator, the spirit of variance. He says, I grew up in Brooklyn too. I remember those Labor Day parades. What Marcus is saying is 100% correct. Revelator, I am from Church Avenue in Flatbush, Kenmore Movie Theater. That's where I'm from. Church and Flatbush, where Juve goes down. That's how deep into it I am. You understand what I'm saying? And hood, you know what I'm talking about. I am from where Juve starts. All we had to do was walk outside, bro. And we was right in it. The Parkway is up there, but where Juve starts is right the fuck there. Flatbush and Church. And shout out to anybody who knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I am from Flatbush Avenue and Church Avenue.
I think the relevance of this particular conversation now, we're talking about like immigrant.
But I want to answer your question, and then I want to also talk about the other point that was made. And then we got to talk about Biden and Kamala. You know, we spend too much time.
I'm so mad. I'm away from home right now because I'd have been live talking about this shit, bro.
Right. So now you get to talk about it here, man. I get to do the hood conservative. It's done. It's done. It's done.
Hey, look, we even now. You showed up on mine. That was benefit to me, so I'm here back paying the favor, bro. No doubt.
So before I get into that, this is what I'll say, right? And I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the question you just asked me. You asked, could black people be on the far right? Black people are conservative. Black people are conservative. All right? Especially a lot of black men. A lot of black men are conservative. Conservative is not a party. Republican is a party.
Yeah, right? I'm not a fan of the Republicans either.
So now that's cool. But what I'm saying is conservative is a political position. It's a political point of view. It's a social point of view. Right? I have a lot of conservative worldviews. Black people as a whole have a lot of conservative worldviews, especially black men. Lately,
I challenge that though. I don't know if that's as true as you like to think.
So let me add on to it. Lately, I would say that black women are largely liberal, right? Because they're trying to get away from the conservatism of old-fashioned black culture. I think it was yesterday, we were talking about the Joy Reid thing, right? So when she talks about patriarchy and, black patriarchy, what she's trying to escape is this idea of black conservatism. That's why you're able to sell to black women, the Democrat. You're able to sell the Democratic Party or even Kamala Harris to black women. You're able to sell that to them because they are largely liberal, because it gives them an emancipation for black men. But black men are conservative even if they're not Republican.
I just don't know that to be as true as we want it to be, bro. And you know why I say that? Because I have conversations in these spaces, and I know you probably actually dive deeper into some of these spaces than I even care to, because I don't always want to get into like the pettiness and the spats and the back and forths and shit. But I know that comes with like being in the black circles a lot, right? But the thing I come to realize is that when you raise certain arguments from a right-leaning perspective, a far right even argument, you're going to get pushback from the men as much as the women. Well, that's what almost surprised me about black men. And this is why I don't really believe in the conservatism of black America anymore.
So no, because far right conservative. So define your far right.
All right. Well, when we talk about like the gender war, gender dynamics, for example, right? I think the ideas of the red pill are inherently right-leaning. They're told very super masculine, and the level of pushback that you get from so many black men when it comes to not even the most extreme elements of the red pill, but some of the suppositions leveled against women, like the idea that like women don't actually love men. It's very more it's more of a functional situation than an emotional attachment. No matter how much women confuse you with their own emotional realities, they don't necessarily love you, right? It's a very red pill situation. And I think when we bring up certain realities like that, the fact that so many men are uncomfortable with talking about the real nature of women, That's just one element that leads me to think that black men are actually probably way more liberal than we like to believe. We actually do believe in equality of the sexes. We actually do believe that women can be in charge of things. This is why we don't fight to be in charge of shit over the women. This is why, listen, if black men are supposed to be leaders, why the fuck do we vote for these bitches?
I want to read something that I just saw. This is kind of late that I got this because, you know, we got so deep into this back and forth. I don't want to take the conversation backwards, but I'm going to read this for FYI because I want it on record on the, you know, on the stream, right? So shout out to Maggie. So this is Native American reparations, starting with all Native Americans. I'm going to say this again. All Native Americans. Number one, monetary settlements. Various tribes have received financial compensation through legal settlements for historical grievances. For instance, the Cobell versus Salazar case resulted in a $3.4 billion settlement in 2010, which is not that long ago, addressing the mismanagement of Native American trust funds by the U.S. government. 2, land restoration. Some tribes have had land returned to them or have received land grants. The Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act of 1971 is a notable example where Alaska natives received 44 million acres of land and nearly $1 billion in compensation. Number 3, federal acknowledgement and recognition. Some tribes have achieved federal recognition, which can lead to eligibility for various federal aid programs, legal standing, and other benefits. 4, healthcare and education programs. The Indian Health Service, IHS, provides healthcare to Native Americans, and various federal programs support education, housing, and economic development for Native American communities. Number 5, cultural restoration. Efforts have been made to restore cultural sites and to repatriate sacred objects and remains through laws like the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. And some tribes got casinos or specific tax breaks, right? I would make the argument, and again, not to take this backwards, I'll say this and then you can respond and we'll fast forward right back to where we are. I would make the argument that, like earlier when you said tribes, I would make the argument that tribes pretty much covers all Native Americans. And you can oppose that if you want. I'm listening.
Yeah. My major point with that is that black folk are not a tribe in the sense of Native Americans.
They don't have to be.
There is no chief. There is no representative body that speaks for all of us. So I don't know if it works the same.
The reparations is not based on being a tribe. It's based on being in the lineage, your lineage being tied to slavery. Again, I can't say that enough. I don't think that. Hold on. I don't think that in order for us to apply in order for us to be eligible for the reparations like they were, not the reparations, but for reparations like they were, I don't think that we have to be a tribe like they were a tribe. Our criteria is different than theirs. It's about being of lineage connected to slavery. That doesn't have to be a tribe.
But the problem is it does have to be, because ultimately when it comes to things like, let me explain why. When it comes to like the judicial system, there has never been just like this broad awarding of money to a nameless, faceless group of people. And so when it comes to the tribe, the lineage argument only matters after the fact, meaning the tribe made a deal with the government. That deal was secured by representatives of the tribe. So you have individuals who represent a specific group.
Tribe is lineage also.
Hold on. The lineage matters after the deal is struck. Now the group can only extend those benefits to people who fit the lineage criteria, right? But the lineage is somewhat separate from the deal itself. The deal was struck between a very finite, specific group of people that had a representative body. There was a people that you can go to. It was almost like a system of government talking to another system of government. You understand the difference? Just a bunch of niggas saying I want
that doesn't, but that doesn't make or break your reparations argument, though. It doesn't.
It kind of does.
No, it really doesn't.
Without the form, without the formal grouping, without saying like this is who we are, this is us, this is our group, this is who represents us. You talk to him. He represents all of us.
We don't have to have a representative
for all of us as a tribe, right? Who speaks for all of us as a tribe, honey?
Bullshit. At the end of the hold on. Irrelevant. At the end of the day, if my great grandparents were slaves and I can prove it, I qualify. It's a different criteria. You're trying to make our criteria their criteria and try to make or break a reparations argument based on that. That's fallacious.
You would have to prove,
it's fallacious.
In terms of the Indians, you would have to prove your lineage to the Indians, not to the government. That's the kind of, I'm trying to separate these realities so it makes sense.
No, that's their criteria, not ours. Our criteria is different. So I'm telling you, again, if my great grandparents picked cotton for free in this motherfucker, then I qualify. That is not a Native American form of criteria. That is Black American criteria. Our criteria doesn't have to be their criteria. We have a different set of criteria. It's not the same thing, bro. It's fallacious, bro. What you're doing.
I feel like we're going backwards with the reparations.
We are.
So we can kind of say some really flamboyant shit. Like
you can, and you're hood conservative.
It wasn't for free, nigga. You had to live. You had to eat. You wore clothes. You wasn't naked in the cotton field. Like, who says it was for free? Ungrateful, lazy niggas. I swear.
Oh yeah, we should be thankful for the pig intestines and weird animal parts that they fed us while we're doing this work in this 100-degree weather.
We love chitlins now, nigga. Obviously, it wasn't terrible then, shit. But you see how, like,
ladies and gentlemen,
ridiculous, obviously, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Hood Conservative. If you haven't checked out Hood Conservative, if you like this type of talk, Hood Conservative has his own channel. If you have, because there's some people that are into this type of shit, bro. Like, if you find what Hood Conservative is saying entertaining to you, you need to check out his channel.
Well, because there's a truth to it. Imagine you done housed the motherfucker. You done control. You done organize everything in this motherfucker life for their whole life. And now they like, hey, you owe me. Nigga, you owe me. Like, the fuck you mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, Hood Conservative.
Black folks have never owned a slave before. I think niggas need to own a slave so they can understand how it's like, and then we could all make peace with the shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hood Conservative, everybody. Hood Conservative. Hood Conservative. Hood Conservative, everybody. You can't do nothing but laugh at this shit.
That's April 2022. Currently tend to find your Azerathums.
What?
The period is a major rank below an era.
Man, get out of my conversation, man. It was fucking technology, man. Anyway, so moving right along. So Biden is out. Okay. So before I move on, your feelings on Biden is out. I know mine. Are you there?
Yo, you always pass me the mic when I'm like trying to run to the bathroom or something. No, your timing sucks. But no,
this ain't like other channels. I'm actually interested in what my guests have to say.
I feel it. I'll be on the spot every other minute. But I think Biden being out was the obvious move, and I think anybody who's like surprised or butthurt at it, it's because you guys believed in the Democratic Kool-Aid, and obviously, I said something. I was talking to a completely different group of people, but I was making a point about how you think they won't take a shot at Trump and they won't. They'll take a shot at Trump, but they won't fudge the numbers in the election, right? Listen, nothing is real. Everything is faked, and you're watching a whole production play out before you. So of course Biden had to go. What else was he gonna do?
Me personally, I thought they were gonna try to shoot Trump the first time he ran. I'm dead ass. I think that the attempt on Trump, if it's real, right? If it's real, because I have my doubts. Shout out to, yo, give me some likes in this motherfucker, please. I need some likes. If it's real, and I don't know. I can't. I don't. I'm on the fence. I'm like right on the fence of if it's real or not. But I would have thought that they would have tried to make a move on Trump the first time around, right? So this second go round, okay, all right.
Well,
but what's up?
That's the thing about whether or not if it's real. Now, I hear you in the sense that the whole thing seems fishy because, like, how does something like this even happen? I don't know if it makes sense for Trump to be like, hey, I want you to be like 150 yards away and then shoot a piece of my ear off. No, that's
look.
not how,
they shot Kennedy, man. They shot Reagan. Presidents get
they
shot.
Killed the nigga. They killed that nigga though. They tried to kill Reagan. Nobody was like, "Yo, clip Reagan's ear off with a bullet." Nobody was trying for that. No, it's not.
So hold on. So you think the nigga aimed for his ear?
Well, because if he didn't hit his ear, then he would have killed him. And so the only other options are either he killed him, and that's an assassination, or he missed him on purpose. He nicked him on purpose, and it's it's like some kind of scam. No. I don't know if that's how things work.
Real quick before I continue, yo, if it's possible, put your avatar logo back so we know it's hoodservative, right? I need that. So also,
that's not me. I think it's probably my signal or whatever. I can't really control that right now.
I got you. So the guy who shot his ear on purpose, just understand he's a dead man. So did he die on purpose too?
Well, no, if you sign up to kill the president, you're probably going to die like immediately after. I don't think you really see any other future after you kill the president.
No, but I'm just saying, like, this is the guy who, like, it's all fake, right? If it's real and you try to kill the president, then we kill you. But if it's fake, then you fake shoot his ear and then we lock you up and then somehow you disappear and we don't report on you no more. What happened to the guy that tried to shoot Trump? I don't know. They stopped talking about it, but he's dead.
I think the real scandal is the fact that it happened, not the guy himself. All right, all these fat lesbians suddenly become the presidential guardians, and then as it turns out, they weren't proper Secret Service. They were like some new rookie bitches or something. Like the whole thing starts to look fishy, bro. And so if you want to raise the conspiracy flags, I'm with you. I just don't think we believe in the same kind of conspiracy.
No, I didn't say it was a conspiracy. I said I'm on the fence. But okay, so let's move on. So all right. So he got shot, right? So now we talking about Biden.
I gotta get out of here in a little while because my son wants me to do some other shit with him. So I kind of.
All right, so real quick before you jump out of here, man. So let's talk about Biden and Kamala Harris for a second, right? So this guy's out of here. He's out of here. He should have been out of here. And I think that if he tried to run, he would have died. I'm glad he's gone. Because if, let's say he ran, and I don't think he would have won, but let's say he ran and he won by some, like miracle, right? And then he fell into a fucking vat of chocolate. Then we'd have this bitch as the president. But what we having now is him leaving the race and her having to run against Trump. What's your thoughts on her running back? I mean, her running for office.
Nobody liked you before. We like you less now that we've been watching you for 4 years. Like, I love this because I really kind of have like a seething almost level of hatred for the Democrats because it's personal. You hate men You hate straight men. I'm a straight man. I got a little boy. I want him to be a straight man in the future. So I assume you hate him, or you will hate him at some point in time. And so, we got beef now. And everything that happens to you guys negatively, I think is the best thing ever. And so watching the woman that nobody likes now taking the job that nobody ever wanted her to have, it's perfect, bro. Let's go.
You do understand, right? I want you to understand that a lot of, especially in this group of people that are watching us have this conversation, you do understand, right, that none of them like these people either.
True, but at the same time, they have a black culture loyalty to the Democrat Party, and I assume most of your audience listeners, your audience members, are largely straight black men. And I stand on this. And you know what? Shout out to your audience, by the way. This is why I started out today's show by making this type of comments. I'm not going to pick fights with the audience because we're going to disagree. You and I are going to disagree on this stream. That's just the nature of what we agree to do right now. And that's
right.
It is what it is.
Right.
I don't beef with your audience because of that, no matter how they feel about the shit I say. And I might even say some outlandish shit just because I feel like saying some outlandish shit. So how can I be offended that they say some shit back, right? That being said, we are all straight men, straight black men, as far as I understand it. And you really have to ask yourself, do you think the Democrats respect you as a straight black man?
I don't think they think that. Okay, so there's more to the questions. Okay, so finish asking the question.
Well, no, that was the question. I was going to ask a follow-up, but
okay,
don't think they think that. Please continue.
No, they do think that. The thing is, they feel like Marcel feels. Right? So, again, black men in particular are between a rock and a hard place where it's like, okay, we don't really rock with the left. There's a lot of, and I'm talking about, I ain't talking about the simp motherfuckers that we talk shit about. I'm talking about is a lot of, and I can't tell you the percentage, but there's a lot of guys who are conservative minded or conservative leaning. And they have issues with leftist policies. They have issues with liberal policies. They have issues with the party. But it's not like everything is fucking baked, warm fucking Toll House cookies on the right for niggas either. So the thing is what he said. He said the right, if they want the black vote, or black male vote at least, they're going to have to address some of the redneck shit. Or not.
Would you rather have an honest enemy or a lying friend?
But that's what he said. Again, I played that. Hold on.
I'm asking you a question. It's either or.
I'll answer your question. You got to let me speak. He said that in the beginning of the stream, that I played that video for a reason. He said, I like my bigots blatantly honest. He said that. I agree with him. I like my bigots blatantly honest. But also, anytime I have these conversations with you guys, whether it be you or Little Big Nate or anybody else on the conservative side, the first thing y'all will charge us with is we want to be liked. We don't give a fuck about being liked. We don't give a fuck about being loved. We give a fuck that you carry out the policies that we put you into office for as relates to us.
Hey, shout out to niggas who don't want to be liked, bro. I feel you. I'm with that. I respect that. I don't want to be liked either.
So what I'm saying is, what we are not seeing is policies directed at black men on either side, right? On either side. Now, we remember the first election where, Ice Cube hollered at both sides and the Dems were like, oh, we'll talk about that after the election. We know what that means. It means go fuck yourself, right? Vote for us if you're black and then go fuck yourself until next election when we need you again. We are under the full understanding that the left uses us for votes. We're under that understanding. A good number of us, right? The reason why a lot of black men vote left is what Marcel said. They vote for the side that seems less hostile. You've heard the term a million times, the lesser of two evils. Nowadays, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for black men, all black men. Nowadays, in my opinion, both sides are evil equally. In my opinion, you might have a difference of opinion. I don't. I can be far right leaning, like you asked earlier. It doesn't mean I will support the Republican Party, because just because I agree with motherfuckers, it doesn't mean that they will create policy that serves my interests for me to go out and stand in line to vote for them. If go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't.
No. Speak to me, because I ain't got you for much longer.
Yeah, one side wants your children, your sons, to be transgender bad bitches. The other side wants your daughters to be man-hating bad bitches.
Right. So you fucked either way.
Well, no. I'm sorry. It's not one side. It's actually both sides. I mean, I'm
fucked either way.
No, I'm
that's what you're
hold on. Let me start this whole. Let me start this whole sentence over. The left on either element of the left wants your sons to be transgender bad bitches, or it wants your daughters to be man-hating bad bitches. Right? That's the left. The right doesn't want to kiss your black ass.
No, it's a little bit more than that.
I don't know if it's more than that. Because honestly,
it's a lot of things you're claiming not to know tonight.
Well, here's what I think the deal on the right is in terms of race politics. White folks want to be left alone, and they're willing to leave black folks alone.
No, they're not.
The left wants everybody to be the same kind of weird thing. Well, this is the disagreement, perhaps, but I don't know that the white people on the right are out there trying to reorganize the social lives of black people the way the left is.
Okay, so
white people on the right want fathers raising children and ass whoopings handed out, with justice.
So how about this? So let me. I'm gonna ask you a question. I think I might know what kind of answer I'm gonna get from you. The right pushes the Second Amendment, right? Right to bear arms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how do they feel about niggas with guns?
Behave.
Oh, so white people don't shoot up schools and
no. You asked me how white people feel about niggas with guns.
Okay, so let me
behave. So there are tons of black gun owners that don't get flat. It's not the black legal gun owners that get hate from white folk. When you see a bunch of niggas on the internet flashing guns, most of them niggas aren't legal gun owners, and those aren't the niggas that white folks are worried about.
That's not true. So let me say this, because to be honest, like, and then after whenever you go, I gotta bring Adrian up, and we're gonna talk about the gun thing in depth.
Yeah, is he here or not? Because we've been holding it down.
What I'm saying is, we know the reality in this country is that black men cannot exercise gun rights in an equal fashion to white men, even in places where guns are legal.
I disagree with that.
You can, but it doesn't change the fact that that's true, right? So
I don't know it to.
I said to the extent. I'm not saying. Again, you're claiming not to know. See, it's like the Lil Wayne interview was like, I don't recall. Like, you're doing a
no. It's more like the Lil Wayne interview where he says, I don't know what the fuck white supremacy is. A white cop saved my life, right? It's more like that.
So an anecdotal argument is larger than a general statement then. So Lil Wayne saying, well, that didn't happen to me. I've never been done this way by police there's no police brutality. That's what you're saying?
You're making anecdotal arguments too by saying, well, black folk, we just can't have gun rights in America.
That's not anecdotal. I didn't say that. You're misrepresenting what I said.
Gun owners, we have black gun channels.
You're misrepresenting what I said.
A black gun owners club.
You're straw manning. You're straw manning. I know what I said. You're straw manning. What I said was,
so why can't black folks have gun rights?
I didn't say that. I said that black folks cannot exercise gun rights to the same extent as white folks. That's exactly what I said. You're straw manning. Don't do that. I know what I said, and I can repeat it on demand.
Well, then you would need to prove the claim.
Well, we have plenty. We have plenty for that. So we got Philando Castile. We have I don't know, the guy that got killed in Walmart. What I'm saying is, when these guys get killed, right? You don't see the same NRA that champions everything else jump into the cause of these guys. You don't see it. Now, you might have somebody like Killer Mike or get on a TV show talking about join the NRA. Fuck the NRA. I would tell black people. Hold on. I would tell. Privileges. Okay, so how did it benefit these guys that I just named? The NRA is not. Were they members? The NRA is not going to come. Members? The NRA is not going to come to members? Public. I'll keep talking. The NRA is not going to publicly come to the aid of any black gun owner. It hasn't happened since I haven't seen it. You're better off joining a black gun organization, right? Because then you have maybe some protections there. But you don't see that. You don't see that.
I have black relatives who are members of the NRA. They're current,
right.
They pay their dues. They've never had any issues with guns,
so then you can't use the
test it.
Unless that's happened, they're bad examples.
No. The point is, membership has privileges. And you just name random black niggas and be like, the NRA doesn't help them.
You just named some random black niggas related to you.
I'm talking about NRA members though. I'm saying I have family members who are in the NRA.
So have they had these issues?
Castile in the NRA.
Have they had these issues?
Why should the NRA defend people who are not in the NRA?
So name me a black person that you know that the NRA. Okay, so do they extend to the privileges that we're right now discussing?
Membership has privileges, and
sounds great. You can answer my question.
You named are members of the NRA. The NRA was not obligated to fight for random niggas with gun cases.
Okay, so name black people that the NRA has come to the aid of in their time of need.
I honestly, you know what? To be fair, I don't know if that's true, so I can't.
Okay,
say
so let's move on.
Or isn't. Let's move on. I don't know if that's been a thing.
We're gonna move.
It's a good question.
Bro,
it's a solid question.
It's funny how, again, you're a hood conservative. Your channel is a political channel, a YouTube political platform, and you're telling me everything that I bring up. You don't know this. You don't know that. It just feels very convenient.
When you get me on a point, I'm willing to acknowledge. Listen,
I got you, but just understand.
What more can you ask from a nigga? Like, we want me to bullshit you and fight you?
No, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is sometimes it just feels convenient. That's all I'm saying. I'm not
convenient for me to
I'm just saying
that you might be right about something.
I could be wrong. I'm just telling you what it feels like. It just feels convenient.
I'm just saying it feels convenient for me to concede that you may actually be right about a particular point. That's weird, bro. Like,
that's not what you said.
Right about everything.
No, you said that you don't know that these things are happening. It's
like
you said you don't know that the natives got reparations.
You asked me if the NRA has ever defended a black person on a particular.
No, that's great.
I don't really know how it works. I don't know if it's happened that way.
That's great on that point, but I'm just talking about the abundance of things that I'm bringing up that you claim to not know about or to not know that exists. For instance, do you think that a black man walking down the street with an AR-15 across his back will get the same reaction as a white man doing it?
It depends on the county.
Fair enough, but yes or no? So
it's not a yes or no though, because it depends on the county. If you live in a county where open carry is a norm, then if the police harass you for open carrying, I expect you to sue the fuck out of them.
That's fine.
The news won't even talk about it probably, but I expect you to exercise your rights as a black man. And I would support you. And I would go as far to say the NRA would support you as well.
Bullshit. I don't believe that. So then it would stand.
But that's the argument.
So then it stands to reason that what I said is true, that black men cannot exercise the Second Amendment to the extent that white men can in America.
I don't know there's evidence for that.
You just said it.
Hold on, you were arguing the hypothetical.
You said depends.
What might?
You said it depends.
But still, we can't.
Depends means
something over hypothetical.
No, I'm going based on what your answer was. You said it depends.
Right. It depends on the laws of the county, not
No,
on whether you're black or
in an
not.
open
And I never,
in an open carry state.
In an open carry
If a black
state,
man and a white man live in the same county that is
I don't
open
expect you to be
carry, do you
harassed.
think
I don't
that a
expect you to
black
be
man
harassed.
could walk down the street
Yes.
in that same county with an AR strapped to his back like a white man can?
Yes,
Same county,
yes.
same judges, same everything.
Yes,
That's
I
what
do,
you.
absolutely.
There's actually proof against that. Let's move
I
on.
absolutely believe that, but all right, let's move on if you like. But all right, one last topic, and then we got to get out of here. What's the next thing you want to talk about?
Right. So a possible Kamala Harris presidency.
Oh God, I'm gonna make so much money. I am. I don't even think. I think we're all gonna die, but I'm gonna make so much money.
What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm joking because I'm talking about, like, just being on YouTube, being like a right wing commentator / troll or whatever. Like, Kamala Harris being in office is only gonna serve funny right leaning niggas like myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dare you niggas to enjoy this bitch.
So, shout out to Rob, Blacklight Revelations. I'm gonna try to pull this on screen because I got it on my phone, but I'm gonna try to pull it on screen if I can. Because right now, for some reason, I'm not able to open up my my chat. Now this is something that we all know. You know what? Before I show it, I'm gonna ask you because I hope this doesn't fall under the heading of things that you might not know exist, right? Now, you do remember the Black Panthers in California. You remember that you could have a gun in California at one point until the Black Panthers started showing up everywhere with guns, exercising this.
I mean, nobody wants communists to show up with guns either, but we'll forget about that.
Why are
Everybody
they
talks
communists?
about because they were fucking Marxist communists. Have you ever read anything they believed?
But they were practicing.
But they were black, so it's all
but,
good.
But they
This
were
is why I don't
practicing.
fuck with
No,
you niggas like
they
that,
were
bro. Niggas don't look
Americans
past the
practicing.
blackness.
So that's a basis of taking their Second Amendment constitutional right away.
They didn't take their rights away. No one took anyone's rights. They wrote new laws about carrying in public. No one's rights were taken away. That's not.
They took the guns away. Right to bear arms was taken away from them.
Your right to public carry in California was taken away.
So since I can't pull this up, I'm going to show it on my phone. Right. So earlier you said
and that was broad, not with black people. That was everybody.
That's fine, but it didn't happen until, right? So earlier you said that the NRA has privileges of membership. They support gun ownership, right? So I'm gonna show you this. This is all from the matter of fact. You know what? Let me just type this in, right? It says the NRA supported gun control when the Black Panthers had the weapons. Now, we are familiar with this. So it's not just about California, but it's the NRA supported gun control. Right? So we're going to make it about them being communists, or are we going to say that?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Communists are barely human because they'll treat you the same. That was the argument. That was the sentimentality at the moment. I'm not saying that like I believe these things, but that was the sentimentality of the moment.
I disagree with you. It was about them being black people.
Communists hate us and we hate communists. And so, but see, that's the catch, right? Isn't that a clever trap for black folk? Anything black people do becomes black culture.
Hold on. So you're saying when white communists had guns, these same things? Because I mean, well, shit. You gotta let me. Hey, you gotta let me finish points, bro.
Yeah.
So when Columbine happened, when two dudes shot up a school full of kids, right? The NRA didn't. I mean, I was alive for this. The NRA didn't show up pushing gun rights. Now you don't. Come on, man.
Hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this incomplete. I don't know that Columbine was a white communist issue. You literally said when white communists.
I didn't say no. Right now, what
does Columbine have to do with communism?
I didn't. No, what I'm saying, what I'm talking about is Second Amendment rights. You're making it about communism.
I'm saying that
Hold on. You introduced this communist sort of argument where it's like, okay, your Second Amendment rights stop at your political leanings, right? You made it about that. What I'm saying is, hold on. No, you kind of did. I'm saying some black Americans exercised their Second Amendment rights and laws were changed, and the NRA, the National Rifle Association, supported those laws changing when that happened. But in any other instance, this did not take place.
I'm saying,
including a school shooting.
I'm saying that a bunch of black communists started marching around with guns, and then the people in California said, you know what, maybe nobody should be legally allowed to march around with guns if the communists are going to do that. But all black people see are black people, and therefore it becomes a black issue. With no understanding of how evil communism may be and how you're selling your own people into a system of subjugation. Like communism is not the savior of black people, and to trick black people into communism is only to trick black people into supporting evil under the guise of blackness. And this is why I don't really support any of the arguments. So you're saying that
the totality of the function of the Black Panthers was communism?
Yeah, they were Marxist and communist. The practical endpoint of where they wanted to wind up was a communist utopia, and everybody's going to die.
Okay. I mean, Karl Marx himself was from where?
Russia. I mean, all right. So let's look at it this way. A lot of the Black Panther Party were motivated by the white people that no white people like. How about that? You're motivated by the worst of white people.
So hold on. So are you saying that the Black Panthers as a group started because they were trying to institute communism in America? That's where that came from?
Yes, they were Marxist and communist.
So that's where that came from?
Well, where else did it come from?
I want to think you're fucking with me, bro. I really want to think you're fucking with me.
When you say things like Black Americans have supported every revolutionary movement, you realize every revolution from the last 100 years has been a communist revolution. There's never been a capitalist revolution. There's never been a Christian revolution. It's always a communist revolution.
So let me ask you this.
Always supported these niggas because they're retarded.
So what's the opposite of communism, in your opinion?
Well, the practical opposite of communism is capitalism.
Right. So capitalism. So capitalism doesn't cause any bloodshed.
Of course it does, but people will always cause bloodshed.
Okay, so then why are we making communism a point of contention in this conversation?
Because the system of capitalism doesn't necessarily okay bloodshed just to get to a greater goal.
Of course it does.
And frankly, capitalism in and of itself is not the goal. I am not saying that we should just be capitalists.
Hood, you my man, you're making some real bad arguments tonight. Real bad. Real bad arguments tonight, right? Real bad arguments, like, yeah. So let's move past that.
You can't just say I'm making really bad arguments and then say let's move past.
I mean,
if I'm actually
because
if I'm arguing,
okay, so I'll
answer
your question since you're holding me to it, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's like I don't even really have to debate against the stuff you're saying. It's so terrible. It's like you're doing it like
logical fallacies, brother. Like you're
I'm not saying that to say I won't answer your question, because I will. Right? It's like saying what's worse, Christianity or Islam. Right? They're both religions and people die, right? So what I'm saying,
not saying that, but
I'm not saying that you're saying that. I said it's like you're saying that. I'm making a contrast comparison. That's what I'm doing. So to answer your question, right? Communism is terrible, right? It's bad. It's terrible, right? And capitalism is great. But you're saying communism is bad because what? Because like,
would you like me to explain? Because it's concise.
So what I'm trying to understand is what does communism do that capitalism doesn't do to people? Because capitalism is responsible for a lot of fuck shit in world history. So explain to me why communism is worse. I'm not a communist. I'm not making an argument for either one. I want you to hash it out.
Okay. The essence of the two individual ideologies are not only radically different, but effectively oppositional. Meaning this: the essence of capitalism is a free exchange. Meaning, if you have something I want to buy, then I would buy it from you. I would meet your terms freely and willingly. That's the definition of free trade, right? Whatever price you set, I pay that price willingly. Just today, I took the kids out to a fucking buffet, right? And then as we were leaving, because this is what happened. I get a call in the middle of the night last night. My mom fucking fainted or some shit, and the kids are all alone because now my mom's going with the paramedics and they're in the house alone. So I got to drive down and get them and whatever. So now I'm down here with the kids, and so I get here. I take the kids out. We go to a buffet, and we pay for the buffet, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's take the plate to go. And on the way out, they charge us for the plate to go, right? And I'm like, oh, that's some bullshit. I thought it was a buffet. All right, whatever. I ain't even gonna trip. Motherfucking bad. So now I'm paying for the plates to go, and I pay them exactly the price they want. And I didn't even really want to do it. And honestly, I probably shouldn't have done it because I could have got a better deal buying food somewhere else to go, right? But I was like, all right, well, fuck it. We're here. All right, let's just pay and get out of here, right? That is capitalism in essence. I didn't have to. I could have just said no. I could have said, you know what, fuck it, take the food, I'm leaving. I already paid for what I wanted. I'm out of here, right? But I said, all right, that's the price. The price is the price. I don't like the price necessarily. I kind of didn't understand I was about to pay the price, trying to order some food to go at a buffet. But it all makes sense, honestly. But now I got to pay, and so I pay and I leave, and we go about our business, right? The essence of communism is no matter what you wanted, you have to work and you have to pay. And these are completely radically different systems. There is no real element of choice. There's no space for negotiation, truly. And there's no understanding of the market. See, in the market, if enough people say, well, I just don't really want to pay on my way out for this extra plate, maybe eventually they'll start giving you an extra plate because it's like, do I want to weigh the cost of never having business versus having a little bit of business, right? And so the market will respond to customer demands. But in a system of communism, the market tells you what the fuck to do, and you also owe the market, right? And
the market does that in capitalism. What do you mean?
But the market doesn't do that in capitalism.
Absolutely.
The whole essence of capitalism.
I'll let you finish your point.
The essence of capitalism is choice of commerce, while the essence of communism is forced commerce.
No, it's the illusion of. It's the illusion of that. You got the illusion. You got the illusion of choice. But let me ask you this, right? Because I like to ask. Now let me make this clear before I continue with this part of the conversation. I am a capitalist. Been a capitalist all my life, but I am of the belief that you have to have a healthy mix of capitalism and socialism, not communism. A healthy mix of capitalism and socialism, which is kind of, sort of, is what we have, but we don't have enough of it. Let me ask you this, right? For everybody who like hates the idea of, do you, let me ask you this. Do you conflate, and I have to ask this question first. Do you conflate communism with socialism? Do you feel like they are one and the same?
I think they are all a part of the same continuum.
I got a point to make now. I listen to you.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. Did you go to public school?
Yeah.
Okay, you went to public school. If your house is burning down, you're dialing 911, correct?
Yeah.
And you expect the fire department to come. Do you expect to pay these people? No. That's socialism. Socialism is the police coming when you call them. Socialism. No, let me finish my point now. Socialism is the fire department coming when you call them. Socialism is free public school. If you enjoy these elements in America, then you have benefited from socialism. You didn't have to pay to go to school. You don't have to pay the firemen to show up. You don't have to pay the cops to show up. I don't necessarily rock with communism, but socialism is what we live here. And for everybody that's against this and that, understand that if you remove these things from America, or our capitalist society, so to speak, because everybody's so pro-capitalist, like you just this diehard capitalist, you can't really function. You wouldn't be able to function without these social components, these socialist components in our society. That means if you don't swipe your card and your house is burning, we ain't coming, motherfucker. If you don't swipe your card, hold on. If you don't tap your phone and them motherfuckers is trying to break in your crib, we ain't coming, motherfucker. You on your own. I find it very convenient that one would speak down on these things, having benefited from them.
I think we're getting into sort of the gray area that does allow the arguments for socialism to thrive. But ultimately, I think we're conflating what is, honestly, I admit it's a gray area, but we're conflating what works, some basic services for the public good, for ultimate total social control over what we call the public good.
I think you're making an extreme argument. I said a healthy mix.
Name a socialist country. Name a country that's officially a socialist country that doesn't have extreme control over what they.
But that's not what I'm arguing for. I'm not arguing for that.
No.
So you're asking me. Okay, so let me. I'll wait till you're done. I'll wait till you're done.
You're making the argument of 2 + 2, and you don't want to acknowledge that.
No, I'm not. I know what argument
equals 4.
I'll wait till you're done.
That's the argument. It always equals 4.
So this is my response to that, right? This is my response to that. The extreme either way is bad. Extreme capitalism is bad. Extreme socialism or communism is bad. It's bad. You know why? Because what extreme socialism does is it keeps certain people from being great. Certain people, let's be honest, certain people are worth more to society than others. Whether, egalitarianism, fuck out of here. There's no such thing as equality, right? And I'm talking about as far as output. I'll never sing. Hold on. I'll never sing "See Above How I See" like Mariah Carey. Right? There are things that Elon Musk can contribute to society that neither one of us can. So someone like him would suffer under socialism / communism on the extreme end. Whereas on the flip side, extreme capitalism, right? It hinders the same thing that you're arguing for capitalism is hindered with extreme capitalism, that free enterprise shit that you're arguing. Because in extreme capitalism, he who has more power. That's why we had to break monopolies.
I don't know if I'm arguing for extreme, what you call.
I'm not saying that you are. You asked me what country is just socialist and doesn't have extremism, and I'm not arguing for that. My position is you have to have a healthy check and balance of both. So where you allow people to thrive in capitalism because certain people bring more value to society than others, and then you have people who in your society, you have to support with socialism because everybody don't have bootstraps to pull themselves up by. Just naturally and intrinsically. Everybody's not going to thrive or even make it basically in pure capitalism. So you have to have socialist elements or components to your society. The reason we have the fire department and the police department and all this shit is because we all pay taxes that pay these people. That's socialism, right? So you can't make a total argument against socialism. I'm not saying that you are, but we need these things. You need a healthy balance of both for the shit to make sense. I think either way, in my position is, I think either extreme is bad. That's my position, since you asked my position.
Let me say this in conclusion, because I really do need to go.
No problem.
I think I don't totally disagree with your point. If you're going to argue that there's a tiny mix of what you call socialism, when you think of like, Medicare, Medicaid, certain programs that exist strictly for the common social public good, I don't know if I'm going to argue that there should be no programs that exist strictly for the public good. I'm not arguing that programs for the public good are inherently bad. I don't know where you draw the line, because it seems to me that this argument does invite the slippery slope of how much control over the public will you take in order to enact the extreme public good. And this is always the inherent danger of something like socialism, where like, yes, we want to feed everybody, but should I enslave everybody just to make sure everybody's fed and housed? And this is what socialism, this is how—
You're talking about extreme, on the extreme end.
Well,
I'm with you.
This is how socialism ultimately solves the problem. And so the question always becomes, how far do you go? And so I want to leave it at that point right there. I don't know how far we should go with these things, and I caution going any further than the minimum. But that being said, keep it 100. I got to get out of here, and I thank you so much for having this debate.
I did.
No beef. None of this was ever contentious. I don't have any problem with anybody on the chat or the panel, but we have to have conversations that are uncomfortable.
So let me say this before you go. I appreciate you for coming through. It's always like, I mean, when I come to your shit, you come to my shit. We already know that we're entering like unfriendly territory. You know what I'm saying? You're never afraid to come and deal with the smoke, whether it's from me or from the chat. We're gonna do this again. I need another conservative on your team. I mean, I don't know where Nate is. Bernard is missing in action. You know what I'm saying? The first person I could think of is Tice, and Tice be busy, right? I would love Sir Tice to join this conversation, because he's the perfect person. I think he's a well-rounded conservative, Sir Tice. But at any rate, man, I'm a leave you to it, man. I appreciate you for coming through. I didn't expect this to be a debate. I just wanted to talk shit about, huh?
I said I appreciate debate, because honestly, sitting around talking about shit we agree on isn't all that interesting. I would rather disagree for an hour than agree for an hour. And I feel you.
I mean, I'm not against debates. People know me for debates, but I thought we was just gonna talk shit about old ass Biden quitting and us having President Keisha in the White House. You know what I'm saying?
I can't wait. I'm gonna make so much money. I just know.
You know what I'm saying?
But she ain't gonna win though. She can't win.
Nah, she can't win. Yeah, she can't win. Yeah, but it's funny. It'll be fun to talk about though. Like the memes that are gonna come out, bro. Like, the shea moisture and shea butter in the White House type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man. Look, we can go on and on about this, man, another time, bro. But I appreciate you coming through. And
right now, bro, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna check y'all later. All right, peace, man.
No doubt. Peace out. So before I jump off of here, let me see how long I've been on here. It's been 3 hours. So this is what I'm gonna do real quick. Because I was looking for Rob, but since I can't get Rob, Adrian, I don't know if you're available. The reason why I want to pull Adrian up is because Adrian You know what? I'll let him tell you. Because we was having the gun conversation. So I'm gonna put the link up for Adrian. And if Adrian wants to hit the link, he can jump up here. I'm gonna drop the link. Here we go. And then we're gonna soon get up out of here because we've been here for a minute. And I don't know what time Kev is going on. Kev got a smoke show tonight. So shout out to Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Let me see if I could post his link. In the meantime, y'all can open it in a separate tab or something so that y'all can hit his shit. Shout out to Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Kev. So, no doubt. So, Adrian, the link is up there. Let me see if anybody else has sent me anything. That was a very interesting conversation. It's gonna be some shit behind that. What's going on, bro?
What's good, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right.
I want you to speak a little bit in reference to the conversation we had about Second Amendment rights, the NRA, and things of that nature. I want your point of view on that since you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, it was just interesting to me in the conversation that we were trying to somehow shoehorn economic affiliation into what the Second Amendment says. It doesn't make any distinction about whether you're communist or capitalist. It's just the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. That's all it says.
Right.
So we don't really have to go any further than that.
Right.
It's bad enough that some groups think that you should be able to have nuclear weapons, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day.
Right. I thought the qualification for the Second Amendment was American citizenship and maybe even no felony record. Let me see. Did he send a link? Oh, he gave me his email. Okay. I got you, Hood. He gave me his email address. I should
now, as far as the rest of the conversation is concerned, where we're talking about differences in being able to carry.
Right.
I'm a president of a Black Gun Owners Club here in the state that I live.
I didn't want to say it. I wanted you to. Well, go ahead.
That's cool. It's all right. And, we have open carry, or what they call constitutional carry, here in my state. So you literally have people running around looking like Yosemite Sam with two guns on them, just all out in the open.
Right.
But with my group, the thing that I advocate for is what I consider to be common sense carry. As a Black person in this country, you got no business running around with an AR-15 strapped to your ass walking around Walmart. Don't make any sense. You're just asking for trouble.
Right. Right. And I'm in Nevada and I common sense carry. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't need the dirty Harry shit. You know what I'm saying? I give me some James Bond shit.
Right. In a country that we live in right now where your skin is already a weapon, why would you advertise that you're carrying heat? Now don't be like our grandparents and talking about, well, the Lord's just going to protect me, because I hear that a lot.
Right.
Have your shit on you, but you don't have to advertise it.
Absolutely.
You're talking about the brother who got shot and killed in Walmart. All he was doing was picking up a BB gun that he planned to purchase.
So, when I talk about these things, and I'm sure everybody heard me. I'm very careful with my words. I said, Black men cannot practice the Second Amendment to the same, or exercise the Second Amendment to the same extent.
That's true.
It doesn't mean that Black men can't own guns.
Right.
Own guns legally, or somebody gonna kick in our door and say, "You got guns, nigga," and just take your guns and shit, right?
Right.
Nigga, what you doing with them guns? No, I'm saying that we can't exercise that right to the same extent. There's a fear factor attached, right? And fucking shocker. So what I'm saying is, in And, you know, somebody might make the argument like, fuck that, I'm American, it's my right. No matter what, I'm going to do it, this and that. And, you know, if you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, shit, somebody had to sit on the bus and not give up their seat.
Right.
I get it. I ain't mad at you. Ain't going to be me. It ain't going to be me, goddamn. It ain't going to be me.
You asking for trouble.
Right, you asking for trouble, but I feel two ways about it. I feel like a lot of things that took place in this country for us to have rights, we had to have somebody not give a fuck, right?
Right.
And at the same time, that person ain't me. And I commend. Hey, look, bro, I support you in spirit, bro.
That's right.
How many videos have we seen on YouTube where you got a black dude walking down the street with an AR being videotaped just to see what the cops gonna do? Like, this shit is all over. Huh?
There's enough of those videos that exist on YouTube. You could be there for hours just watching a brother set himself up, cam, walk across the street. Here come the cops.
So this is why I don't like to make or have debates where, you know, like I like to call them debating the wetness of water debates, because we know water's wet. Let's not do the thing where one of us pretends that we don't know that water is wet. And we, you know, it's kind of like an obtuseness, right?
Right.
And, you know, look, Hood Conservative, and I'm sure he's listening to me. Hood Conservative is a very smart dude. I don't see him as somebody that's like, I wouldn't have these conversations with him if I didn't think, you know, he's a political commentator. At least that's what his channel is, right? So what I'm saying is there's a certain expectation. You understand what I'm saying? There's a certain expectation that's going to come with like that thing, and I'm gonna expect like, okay, certain things that we're gonna talk about, and if not, then I can pull it up and read, and then after I inform you of the thing, then there's really no more of an argument to have about it. Like, this is common knowledge. Native American reparations is common knowledge. It's not something that like you have to dig into the Encyclopedia Britannica for. Like, yeah.
Let me cut in right there, because, you know, my children have part of their lineage as Choctaw.
Right.
Okay? And those people have casinos, they have military contracts. When you look at their newsletters, them folks look lily white. You know, so there's no question that they was able to dip into the American coffers and get theirs.
Speak to this comment right here on the screen.
I don't know that I can see it.
Okay, so you said, Marcus, what you are advocating for is what Bernie considered a social democracy.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever Bernie was on the trail, what was this? When he faced off against Hillary in the primary and shit like that, you know, this was immediately after Obama was president. You know, one of the things he kept on talking about was Denmark and how it's a social democracy, you know, meaning that they do practice capitalism, but they also have social safety nets so that the people don't fail. You know, and then, you know, going into what you're talking about with the social services, like, you know, fire department, police, EMT, you know, things like that. Sometimes I don't know what these conservatives really want. I mean, they aren't going to survive during no wild, wild west period like they like to purport that they will. So they need to just stop it.
So earlier when we were talking about the reparations discussion, one of the things I got to point out, and we're going to soon wrap this up, y'all. I ain't going to take up y'all whole Sunday. Some of y'all motherfuckers got to work, and some of y'all are on the East Coast hours ahead of me. And one of the things that Hood said was, you know, that they repaired Japan because it benefited the U.S., and then there's no benefit to giving black people any sort of reparations. And I think that he was framing reparations in the form of money. as if American, the American government hasn't given Americans a number of stimuluses, right? Economic stimuluses.
Yeah.
To boost the economy, right? This is something that benefits America, right? If the argument to be made is niggas ain't gonna do nothing but spend the reparations, that would be a stimulus check that would boost the economy. Y'all ain't gonna do shit but give it right back to white people. Well, then
that stimulates the economy.
Not only does it stimulate the economy, but well, shit. If white people sat in the room, if you got, if anybody ever seen Undercover Brother, if you got the man in the conference room with the men sitting around his conference table, like, hey, if we give black people a financial check for reparations, they're gonna give it back to us, which means we ain't give them shit. So now they can't make a reparations argument because now we gave it to them, they gave it back, and now reparations is over, right? So to be honest, if I'm the man, this would be my strategy. Let's give money to these niggas so they can give it back to us. So now we can say, well,
in our hands, right?
Y'all got y'all reparations. Now y'all got y'all Jordans and your spinning rims and all this shit that y'all buy, and it's not our fault what you did with the money. I actually think if let me say this, if that's what black people were gonna do, they just give us what I would call a stimulus, right? I don't think that's what they think we'll do. I think if they think that if we get this money, they will actually do real shit with it. And that's the fear. Maybe niggas will buy some land, right?
Right.
And we can't have that shit, right? Can't have that shit. Maybe enough people, some people will blow the money. I'm rich, biatch, right? Right? Some people will do that, right?
Yeah.
But then you'll have a good amount of black people that will spend the money toward wealth building.
Right.
And that's a problem.
Right. First of all, there's no data that says that that's how black people do their money.
Right.
Right. We come up with those tropes, just from, anecdotal evidence. I seen my man, he went out and bought some new Jordans. So now I think all black people buy Jordans.
Right.
But, if you look at the data, then it says that, 75% of what we spend, all of our money on goes to food, shelter, transportation.
Right.
So where's all this,
right.
We spending everything on Jordans? Bullshit.
So I remember 9/11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is shit that we can pull up. I'm not making this up. They paid out the women, right? The widows of the 9/11 firefighters and policemen. They paid them out, right? And these women took the money and bought Gucci, Fendi, Prada. This is shit you can pull up.
Oh shit.
Now, if you want to know the makeup of the NYC, fire department and police force,
come on,
Irish and Italian, right?
Right. Exactly.
I see Wolfbane in the back.
Because those aren't black jobs, by the way.
Right, those aren't black jobs. You got a few Negroes wearing uniforms, and yeah. But what I'm saying is, okay, so they blew the bread, right? And these are not people who have this stereotypical reputation of, we gonna go spend money on some flash, right? But nobody was worried that if they gave the 9/11 widows this money, that they will go to Madison Avenue.
Right. The only people we pocket watch are black. That's the reason why they're like, well, we just can't give black people a check. We'll give you an education, which 50 years ago, state education was free anyway. So, yeah, we'll give you an education as if it really has that kind of value. It doesn't.
So shout out to Nigel. Nigel says that's why it will be multi-generational payments, but even if they do spend the money, it's theirs.
Right.
It's again,
That's right.
years and years, multi-generational payments to Native Americans, right?
And
and shout out,
Nigel will know this.
Go ahead.
Nigel will know this. Dr. Sandy Darity was saying that when controlled for income, Black Americans were actually better savers than their contemporaries in America.
Well, we have to.
Right. But what I'm saying is we have the discipline already. We have the financial.
Right.
Discipline. They just don't want you to have the money. But America is interesting. What is it? Was it the Citigroup that did the study back between 2000 and 2016, which said that because of America's adherence to white supremacy, it's forfeited. What was it? 16 to 20 trillion in GDP.
Mm-hmm.
So they're willing to burn the whole country down just to hold on to this notion of white supremacy.
So the fact that people cannot articulate a reason why Black reparations are singled out as a problem. You get all these other arguments that don't make sense, that, oh, well, we're not a tribe, or, the Japanese, like none of these things. And I don't want to start talking. I mean, Hood was here. He made his arguments, right? Mm. But these things don't wash for me. Like, these retorts of why a case for Black reparations is different from any other reparations given to people, right?
Well, especially amongst Black people, after a while it starts to sound like a Stephen-esque "who's that nigga on that nag" conversation.
Absolutely. So, and I don't think that Hood has a problem with that being described that way. I think Hood works very hard, right, for that image. So I also want to point out, shout out to Nigel. Nigel is the one that sent me the clip that I played at the top of the show. He said, them Dawes Rolls $5 Indians Dr. Claude Anderson talked about really just white people. Absolutely.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is why I was kind of confused by Hood saying that he was unaware that Native Americans were receiving reparations. This is not something that I believe is hidden. I think this is common knowledge for anybody in any sort of political discussion, or if you've been in a discussion about reparations, two things. That we paid Native Americans and that we paid Holocaust survivors, right? And then there was a criteria for that was all about tracing your heritage back to that, whether it was tribal or just bloodline. And those, to be honest, when it comes to Native Americans, those two are one and the same.
Well, and this notion that also coming from Hood that, our reparations was, some white folks going out there and shooting each other. Last I remember through history, Haiti won their freedom, but still had to pay France reparations since before the 1860s to all the way up to World War II.
Yeah,
so
not only
that logic doesn't jive.
Not only did they have to pay France, right? But the reason they paid France is because I think it was America and maybe some other countries who held an embargo over Haiti if they didn't pay. So there was a
and go back to war with them.
Yeah, there was a penalty. I mean, it's like, okay, I won the war. Oh, you got to pay me. Well, go fuck yourself. Okay, well, if you don't, right. If I won, then, well, why do I have to pay you? Go fuck yourself. It's just like Hood said, well, why do they have to pay? Well, if Haiti says, well, go fuck yourself, then maybe some other big bully says, well, if you don't pay him, we ain't fucking with you. And then some other guys say, well, if you don't pay him, we ain't fucking with you either. Then Haiti says, "Oh, God damn it."
Well, it definitely didn't work out for him because as soon as France left, here comes America to be a colonial power over him instead.
Right. So yeah. So but then blame it on backwards niggas can't run their country, right? But again, the same people will come here and say, y'all niggas ain't shit. Look how y'all ain't getting ahead and whatever. Your issue is the same white man, right?
Right.
But y'all complaining about the white man, but you're the same white man. That's the thing that kind of bugs me out when it comes to when people come here and they tell black Americans, y'all blame everything on the white man, but the reason you had to leave from where you from and the reason why your country is in the condition that it's in is the same white man, or maybe a different flavor of white man, but it's still a white man. And if you ask, well, why isn't your country this and that and the other? What happened?
Right.
What happened? Colonialism points to white people, right?
Right.
So it's just crazy to me how these things don't add up. But we gonna make some.
Checking your messenger, by the way. I sent you a clip. It's not too long. I'm not expecting you to play it tonight. Maybe if you want to bring up the subject at another time. But it's Dr. Darity talking about how reparations can be paid out without increasing inflation.
Right, no doubt. So let me see. You sent it. You texted it to me, or how did you send it to me?
I think I sent it in your messenger. I may have texted it actually.
Oh, okay. I see it here. It's text. No, it's text.
Okay.
So how to pay reparations to African Americans without spiking inflation, right? $14 trillion reparations. All right. So yeah. So that's something. Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah, because we too late in it. Right now we about to, I guess, make our final thoughts, final statements. But before we do that, let me bring my man up. He's been chilling in the back, and then we gonna do one statement. You know what I'm saying? And then we gonna be out of here. What's going on, Wolf?
What's going on, brother? Can you hear me pretty clearly?
Absolutely.
All right. How you doing, Marcus? And
yes, sir.
Who's the other brother that's speaking? Because I can't see his name.
Adrian.
Adrian Hicks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm kind of familiar with you from BGS's channel. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Private joke, but
hey, yeah. It's Black Manosphere shit, man. I love y'all brothers. But real quick, because I know you about to jump off. I'm really fucking late. I get it.
It's all good.
Look, man, I wanted to mostly comment on the reparations thing towards Black Americans / African Americans, whatever you choose to call us. I use both terms. I don't think direct checks for cash or, debit cards with cash on it, I don't think that would be effective. Our people might do the wrong thing with it, spend it on the wrong shit. We might not. I don't know. I can't call it. I think a lot of black folk would be responsible and start some businesses and buy some real estate. But the powers that be, they don't want that either. I think they should invest that money into pure 100% or almost 100% black communities where there are mostly black businesses in the hood. I'm out of the hood, man. I'm in Chicago. I'm on the Southwest side. Look, man.
So elaborate on that. How do you?
Yeah, I'm about to. There's too many. There's too many businesses where I live that are non-black owned. There's too many. They make most, if not all, of their money off of us. It's time for us to make money off of us. Every dollar, or almost every dollar, should be spent amongst us. The black dollars to circulate amongst black Americans. And I think the best way to do that is to get some enterprising black folk, black men and black women, and invest in small businesses first, and then from there they can grow into maybe big businesses. You never know. Another 20 years we might have corporations. The issue with that is, again, the dominant society doesn't want to see that. You just mentioned, you and Adrian just mentioned how Japanese prisoners of war got, what you could call reparations. They helped to build Japan back up after they dropped that bomb, correct?
Yeah, that was the Marshall Plan, but the Japanese here in America got actual checks.
They got some money, correct?
Right.
So
Israel, Jewish folk, they got a state. They got Israel. They got a state.
Germany's still paying them, by the way, just so that you know.
Yeah.
So I want to point something out.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Go ahead.
So I want to point something out, and let's keep it concise because we almost done.
Yeah.
So the argument is this, right? Nigel, who he's worked, towards reparations. I guess you can make a comment explaining the work that you've done towards reparations. So he said multi-generational payments, right? The problem that I might have with your solution is that everybody ain't business people.
Okay.
So to say that the money should be given to people to start businesses, or better yet, that the money should be given to businesses, which it would say to me that you would have to have a business to benefit from reparations.
No, you can start one. No, you don't have to have one. Start one.
So then if that's the case, then just give people the money and let them start their businesses, or let them buy real estate, or let them invest in stock. I think that the money should be for whatever you want to use it for. Right. And again, it's multi-generational, as he said. Right. So it doesn't turn into the one person, uncle somebody got the reparations check and fucked it up for the rest of the family. It becomes a multi-generational thing, because that's how it worked out for other groups of people.
Hey,
what do you say to that?
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If this is the Black manosphere and we are about Black male independence and Black male autonomy,
agency,
then I should be able to have my money,
right?
And when are we going to stop treating ourselves like children? Right. We've done, like, you play that commercial,
but
you play that commercial whenever you start your show that says we've done so much with so little that we can now do anything with nothing. What would happen if we had something?
Yeah, right. No, Black people, particularly Black men in America, are very resourceful. I agree with all of that. But do you brothers also agree? We get individual checks or debit/credit cards, man. I hear y'all like, hey, it's my money. I can do what I want with it. That's what both of you are pretty much saying. Do you understand there are some Black folks who will absolutely do the wrong thing with it? You just mentioned Jordans and spinning rims on cars. A lot of that is going to happen.
Right. But again, I also mentioned...
It's not cool, man.
I also mentioned a group of white women that spent money on Gucci, Fendi, Prada after their husbands died in a building. So nobody policed their spending.
Right.
We don't even police child support checks. Right? We don't police that. So why do niggas get policed?
Because nobody likes us. That's why. I know that sounds very
understand. So then we again.
Nobody likes Black men. That's why.
Right, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about us suggesting this. We are suggesting that we police Black men's or Black people's spending of their reparations.
Yeah.
So if this was the white man's suggestion, then we could say, well, nobody likes us. They policing our spending. But this is a Black conversation, and all three of us are Black men on a Black channel talk about, well, we need to police because this and that may... Listen, I don't give a fuck what John does with his money. Understand, if Nigel is saying it's multi-generational, John blows his money. John's son gets a check too. John's son might say, I'm going to buy me a house.
Yeah.
So then that kind of solves that problem. If John's son or John brother decides to invest, then what John does with his money is inconsequential. And understand this is multi-generational payments with an S.
Yeah.
Right? So If everybody in the family getting money, then everybody in the family don't need to spend the money in the same direction. You're going to have people who going to blow it and people who won't. Again, I don't want my reparations check to be restricted based on what another nigga going to do with his money.
I understand that.
So you understand? So what I'm saying is, okay, again, if you say, well, this check, let's say you say, you know, it's like giving women child support debit cards that can only work and you're buying these products. If you give a motherfucker a check and then you say to him, you can only use this money to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need more black businesses, right?
Okay, what's wrong with that?
Not everybody.
Then that restricts me. That restricts my reparations check to business and not other forms of wealth building.
You start the business, you make your money, then trick it off. You got your business.
No. You didn't hear what I said. There's other ways to build wealth other than starting a business, and we understand how black businesses work. Black businesses have a rate of failure that's pretty high. So basically, you're saying that will that solve the problem of black patronage of black businesses? So we should all start barbershops and shit like this that we know will work in the hood.
Well,
so I understand what you're saying, but it's it's kind of
I used to work for a black bank back in the day. I was in my young 20s, man. I told y'all brothers before, I'm in my early 50s now. When I was in my early 20s. I worked at a black-owned bank. You know, there's only 2 or 3 of them in the city of Chicago. 2 of them are owned by the same I'll even tell you the name, ISF, Illinois Service Federal. They had 2 branches. And then there was another solo black bank on the other side of town somewhere. So more black banks for more loans to black folks to own their own homes and start their own businesses.
That's fine.
They could put the money towards that.
So
work.
What?
That's
no, they could.
Regulation.
If they so choose. If you're saying it right, I'm sure that there are black men out there that would like to do that. So they'll do that. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't start a business or a bank, even with the money.
The ones who can't do that, they should buy Jordans.
Hold up.
They maybe invest. No. So let me answer your question.
Go ahead.
So maybe they invest in real estate, or maybe they invest in the S&P, right? Maybe they do something else other than start. It's like we're saying the only way to spend this money wisely is to start a business. So think about what you're saying. You're saying everybody that's getting the check should start a business. It's like Dame Dash going to Power 105 and saying everybody should be a boss. That's not sustainable. It's not real. It's not real. Everybody can't start a business. Everybody?
I understand that.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that. I think to say that if you're not starting the business, you're buying Jordans is a bad argument to make.
Well, listen to what we're saying about black people. Well, look at the bar that we're setting for black people and black people only. There's millions of Asians, and we aren't telling all the Asians, hey, I need all of y'all to go start a business. We aren't looking at the Latinos and saying, hey, we need all of y'all to start a business. The only people that we're putting this kind of pressure on in these unattainable bars is black people.
That's because we don't have enough businesses. It's not unattainable, Adrian. No, most Hispanics don't own businesses. Most Asians don't own business. But the neighborhood I live in, it's a lot of Asian businesses. There's a few Asian businesses. There's a whole lot of Latino businesses. I'm in a mixed community.
Super chat, y'all. Super chat. So let me read the super chat. Leon says, I'll be the first with a Nike store and rim shop, and I'll hire illegal immigrants, children, $2. It's legal until America get pissed off and send them back home. Right? So what I'm saying to you, bro, is this. Check this out. The answer to not enough black businesses is not everybody start a business.
No, I'm not saying everybody.
You understand what I'm saying?
A whole lot of us do. That's what I would do, man. I always had a small dream, a background dream of starting I love jerk chicken.
I got you.
Jerk chicken shack or jerk chicken restaurant because I love jerk chicken, man. Open 2 or 3 stores and hire nothing but black folk, whether they Caribbean, whether they're ADOS or not. What's wrong with that, man?
Nothing is wrong with it. What I'm saying is you're making it's an absolute to say that all the money should go to black businesses. What I'm saying, hold on. So let me say this, right? So let me say this. I think that there are enough black men in the black male populace who are thinking like you that we would not have to obligate them to start businesses. There would be enough that would do that on their own without having to be restricted to doing so. So it wouldn't matter that some people would waste their money.
Without being told to, this is what you have to do. No, I hear what you're saying. This is what you have to do with this reparations money.
Like you're on this live stream and you're saying what you would do with your money without an obligation on paper saying that you would have to. That's what you're inclined to do. Do you think that there are enough black men that would be so inclined as you are to where you don't have to put on paper that you're restricted to this or you can't get this money?
Hey, most black men might not start businesses with their reparations money, but I think
we don't need most men. Most white men don't own businesses.
Yeah, no group mostly owns businesses, you know.
So then
we're too, Marcus, we're too far behind, man. Come on now, it's time.
Again, I'm gonna ask you the question, and I'm gonna read the super chat. Do you think that enough black men would start businesses without that sort of restriction? Because I believe so. I've started a business. I've done several businesses. I didn't ever have reparations. You give me reparations, that's just extra capital. What I'm saying to you is, you got two black businessmen talking to you.
Yeah.
Right. And ain't nobody got reparations yet.
Yeah. That would make it all the more sweeter.
Right. But what I'm saying to you is you don't have to implement that sort of guideline so that you can balance out the amount of black businesses versus the amount of black consumers, right? Because it would do that on its own. Shout out to Irvin Reed. Irvin Reed says, "Get your hand out my pocket."
Malcolm X. Yeah. Right. I know what that means. Yeah.
Hey, Wolf, I'm gonna let you give your last statement before we jump off. Yeah. And we out of here, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna switch the subject a little bit.
No doubt.
It's about politics, and this ties into business a little bit, black business or otherwise.
I give you 2 minutes max. 2 minutes max.
I need 90 seconds.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Biden step down? I'm sure you and Adrian heard about it. Kamala hasn't officially made it a real thing, but she's the new Democratic presidential nominee. Does she stand a chance against Donald Trump? I'm not telling nobody who I'm voting for. I am going to vote because I think that's important. Do you think that little woman with her black and Indian ass, does she stand a chance?
Hell
no. Was Donald Trump back in?
Come on, man. Biden didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
This is true.
Why was she?
She couldn't even run her first campaign. What makes us think she's going to run this one?
Yeah.
So that's a no. Adrian, what's your final thoughts, man?
Right.
That's a no, man. Let's keep it moving,
my
man.
final thoughts is that if we're going to be in this space and we're talking about agency and independence, then we got to get to a point where we have belief in ourselves to not just be grown children. In this country, we've innovated with a whole lot less. Just imagine if we actually had something. And, at this point in the game, with what I hear from some of us, we don't even need white people to keep us down. We'll police ourselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just a no-go for me.
So, all right. So before we go, this is what I'm going to say. And, funny thing, this is called Love and Politics, and I didn't even address the love part. I guess I'm going to have to do a separate stream on that. We talk about more politics than anything. This should be, Negro politics or some shit
political
like that.
Season. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, what's up? You had something to say? You just gonna say something?
No, I just said it's a political season.
Oh no, I was talking about Adrian. It sounded like Adrian.
No,
okay, so this is my final word. This is what I'm gonna say. in terms of the things that we started off with the Myron video, I think that, and I agree with Marcel. I think that if the right wants to attract the black vote, it's just like what I say in this this space that we're in. You know, we have to regulate the fuck shit, right? That's what I've said it. I've said it. And I think that the right, if they want to attract, if they want to, maybe they don't give a fuck. But if they want to attract the black vote or the black male vote, they have to check some of the fuck shit in their party.
What do you describe as fuck shit?
Earlier, you got here late. So earlier we was talking about, the outright bigotry or racism that occurs from some of the base in the Republican Party. Not to say that the left is like devoid of that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to present yourself as the choice over the left, then say that. Now, you can't tell us, well, you should vote for us because the left is doing this when the right is doing X, Y, Z. Because we're not coming at you from a perspective of the left is great and give us a reason not to fuck with them. Right? We're coming to you from a perspective of we might not fuck with either one of you, but tell us why we should fuck with you. Sell us the right without talking shit on the left, because we don't fuck with the left. So that's one of the things I wanted to speak to. The other thing was, when we talk about reparations, the conversation is, tends to occur, especially now, between black Americans and others in the diaspora, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, yo, we supported your political movement, support ours. You shouldn't have to derive a benefit to support us because we didn't derive a benefit supporting your movements. When it was about apartheid, we didn't get shit from that. If it's about, white farm landowners giving land back to the people in whether it be South Africa or whatever other nation this is occurring in.
Yeah,
right. Black Americans are not getting any land down there given to them because we black too, right? Yep. So if we are not deriving the benefit and we still support, do that. Or let's stop faking like we all black and say, you know what? Fuck your movement. I ain't getting no benefit from it, so I ain't giving you support. Okay, so then don't ask us to do the same when the roles are reversed. Right. That's and then you would have to look at Black America and say, look, Black America, this is what they're straight up telling you is the case. So then now you have to say, well, you know what? If it ain't no love lost, then fuck it. Right? So that's point number 2. What else will we talk?
Can I wedge a comment in there where you're talking about the Democrats and the Republicans where it concerns black people, black voters?
Right.
The difference is that I don't recall the Republicans making any type of concerted push to get black voters. For the most part, they don't want us at all. No. So what
we usually just come over to their side on our own. You're right. Democrats come out and recruit us.
Right. So what we're seeing right now is black people adrift trying to find a home.
Trying to find a home. I like that. But there you go.
I made the video still on my channel. I did a whole video on that. My whole thing was, I feel like black people are gangbanging on each other over which plantation to pick cotton for.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally and not literally. Yeah, both.
Right. So
gangbanging for real. Yeah.
Not only has the right not campaigned the black people or black men, but like Marcel said, you have certain elements in their party or in their base that are outright disrespectful or bigoted towards black people or black men, right? So there's a double whammy, right?
Double whammy.
So what I'm saying is, what Marcel was trying to say to Myron, even though Myron was like, what's the point? What Marcel was trying to say to Myron is if the right wants black men as a voting block, then they have to address that shit as a party. as a party. So okay, so moving on from there.
Just for clarity, Marcus, what? Because there's like 3 Myrons.
You talking about fresh and fit, fresh and fit, Myron.
All right, yeah, that asshole. Yeah,
so
okay.
right, so so let me wrap this up, gentlemen. So the last point is, you know, when we talk about reparations, and you know whether we deserve it or not, is one thing to have to make the argument to the actual American government. It's another thing to have these back and forth with, like I said, members, other people in the diaspora, and it's another thing to have a conversation amongst other Black Americans on what we'll do with the money. It's like it's so many levels of niggas shouldn't get this.
Yeah.
And never in the history of the world or reparations did other groups of people sit and have this sort of conversation.
Hell no.
Well,
it didn't happen.
You know,
it didn't fucking happen.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, different tribes didn't say what you know, the Navajos didn't say what the other tribe was going to do with the reparations money. Y'all motherfuckers just going to spend it on alcohol. That didn't happen.
They didn't, but they didn't. They started casinos, right? That's what I'm talking about.
And they get drunk as shit. But again, they this is what they're doing with their reparations money. Some people started casinos, and other people got drunk. And nobody said, well, you can't get your casino money because some of y'all might get drunk, or nobody suggested that, well, the only way you can get this money is if you start a casino.
And
because you might go buy liquor.
This is true. They did suggest it, but they didn't make it. They did suggest it, but they didn't make it mandatory. This is true. Yeah.
Right. So, but again, they have the freedom, and they still get their checks. They still get their money, and that they got their casinos, and they can blow their casino money and their reparations money on top.
What they want to do. Yeah. All right, real quick, I'm finna drop off, but if they do dole out, if it even happens, y'all. If they do dole out individual checks, so individual debit cards, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a Jordan fan, but I'm an Air Max fan. I'm gonna buy me 2, 3, 4 pair of Air Maxes. Sure I am. But guess what else I'm gonna do? Start that jerk chicken restaurant. I'm gonna do that too. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga and that chicken. All right.
Well, hopefully, look. All I'm gonna say is this, and we out of here. Hopefully, niggas don't see your jerk chicken restaurant, walk past that motherfucker, and walk into McJerk's. Hey, dude, it's McJerk's, man. How can I help you, man?
Not where I'm gonna open it up at.
Got that McJerk chicken, man. It's only $1.99, guy.
Got jerk chicken on a bagel.
You know what I'm saying? Got a fucking chicken hat on. McJerk's, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I fucks with McJerk's because, you know, fuck that nigga across the street, man. Hey, I don't like supporting Black businesses. They always late and slow and this and that and yada yada. But you go to McJerk's, you know, what's his black jerk chicken place doing for the community? That's why I'd rather go to McJerk's, because this nigga's not doing shit for the community. He ain't doing nothing for the community, kids. Nobody asks McJerk's. Nobody asks Sal's Pizza what he doing for the community, right?
Well, but they're not black. They're not black.
No, but they're in the community. If you take
some of us, that's about it.
But they might not do that.
And we'll still go up in there. Yeah.
And you still go up in there. I don't know who's from New York in here, but I ain't never walk up in a Chinese takeout restaurant and a nigga took my chicken fried rice order.
Man, that's here
too. I know what you mean. There's a Chinese old nail place right down the street from where I live. Ain't number black women up in there.
And with that, we are out of here.
We out of here.
I appreciate everybody for joining us this evening. Shout out to Conservative. If you like his brand of commentary, go to his channel and click subscribe. Peace out, y'all.
All right. SYSBM.
Don't say that here. Motherfuckers, hey, you don't know what I'm talking about. Motherfuckers go like, hey, Adrian know what I'm talking about.
What that got to do with it, right? All right, brothers. Hey, it was nice chatting with y'all. I will be up again someday. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all. Peace. We out.